Celestial Immortal Clan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, Inner Space Micro Heavenly Dao. 2024-04-06 Author, Yishu Nanchang. Chapter 176 Inner Space equals Miniature Heavenly Dao. It just so happens that we can deal with them all today. In order to avoid always occupying the space in the Spirit Beast bracelet, the last first-class Superior Spirit Plant Master was also released. When Zhao Linyu came out, she saw two corpses lying on the ground at first sight. One of them was her lover Chen Bao, and the other was a newcomer who had just joined them not long ago. When she saw this as soon as she came out, she already felt that the situation was not good. Her face turned pale with fear and she began to tremble all over. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing shook his head and said directly, "Your companions have already set off before you. Now you are the only one left. You should also prepare yourself." After hearing what Lin Changqing said, Zhao Linyu was directly scared and cried bitterly. Seeing her like this, Su Minian couldn't help blushing, because it reminded her of her past self. It is estimated that her performance at that time should be similar to hers. She was also scared to death by Lin Changqing, but fortunately, she was lucky enough to at least save her life. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing's face turned black. Damn. She actually defiled the inner space. It was no longer clean, and Lin Changqing was so angry that he almost couldn't help but wanted to throw her into the deep pit. However, for the sake of the Spirit Stone, he had to tolerate her for a while. He continued patiently, "I am giving you a chance to redeem your life because you are still cooperating. As long as you can take out 10,000 Spirit Stones, or spiritual objects of equivalent value, of course, valuable information is also okay, you can redeem your own life from me." As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, Zhao Linyu seemed to have found a life-saving straw, and immediately shouted, I have a treasure that is definitely worth more than 10,000 Spirit Stones." Lin Changqing nodded, feeling a little relieved that his efforts finally paid off, so he asked, "What is it? Tell me. Whether it is worth 10,000 Spirit Stones, I have to judge." Zhao Linyu hurriedly said, "It is a set of family inheritance of a third-level spiritual plant master." After saying that, he looked at Lin Changqing with a face full of desire. Lin Changqing's heart moved. Yes. Why didn't I think of it? When I interrogated her last time, when she said she was a first-level spiritual plant master, I should have thought of it. I must squeeze it again to see if there are any other surprises. He raised his hand and performed a technique to promote labor. Zhao Linyu didn't understand why, but she knew it was a technique for promoting labor by a spiritual plant master, so she looked at him with a little surprise. Lin Changqing then spoke, "I also have the spiritual plant master's inheritance, so it's not very valuable to me, but with your third-level inheritance, some things can be mutually verified. It can't be said to be worthless, so let's say your inheritance is worth 5,000 spiritual stones. Are there any other things? If not, I'm sorry. You still have to." Although he didn't say it later, Zhao Linyu knew what he meant. Zhao Linyu hesitated for a moment, but still asked, "Will you really let me go?" Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing estimated that there was something big. After weighing it in his mind, he spoke, "Unfortunately, this is my biggest secret. I just wanted to throw you directly into the deep pit next to it and turn you into nutrients for this space. I asked you on a whim, but now that you know my secret, I can't let you go. Only those who can leave here are those who I trust. If you really have a treasure to redeem your life, I can allow you to live here, but you must sincerely swear to the heaven, recognize me as your master, and never betray me forever. If you can accept it, you hand over the treasure. If you can't accept it, I will throw you into the deep pit." Zhao Linyu felt a little relieved when she heard this. If Lin Changqing had readily agreed to let her leave just now, she would have been even more afraid. She saw a beautiful female cultivator standing next to her, looking at her with a hint of pity and sympathy, and she didn't know what her identity was here. She didn't dare to hesitate and knelt down directly to Lin Changqing. She swore, with the heaven and earth as witnesses and the avenue as witnesses, "I, Zhao Linyu, voluntarily accept the cultivator in front of me as my master and will never betray him forever. If I violate this oath, my soul will be torn apart and I will die." As soon as she finished her oath, The entire inner space suddenly darkened slightly, and then a strange force descended on Zhao Linayu's sea of consciousness, branding a silver rune on her soul. The sudden burning of her soul made Zhao Linayu scream in pain, but fortunately the painful burning feeling soon subsided. Only a silver rune was left on her soul, which was the word Qing in the Golden Seal script. Zhao Linayu had not learned the Golden Seal script, but for some reason, she knew what this rune meant, which was Qing. She also knew that if one day she violated the oath she had just made, then this silver rune branded on her soul would immediately explode, causing her soul to be torn apart and she would die. As soon as Zhao Linayu finished screaming, a gentle and kind power soon descended on Lin Changqing's sea of consciousness and formed a small golden rune. Lin Changqing had experienced this situation twice before. However, the power that descended this time was gentle and kind, but not as strong as the previous 2 times. The 2 descending powers gave Lin Changqing a very different feeling. A golden rune and 2 silver runes were lined up in the sea of consciousness. Lin Changqing tried to touch the golden rune with his spiritual consciousness. A feeling of fear, uneasiness, tension, expectation, and various emotions woven together were transmitted to Lin Changqing's heart, and these emotions were much clearer than those transmitted by the silver rune. Lin Changqing's heart moved, and he transmitted a command to the golden rune to stand up. Zhao Linayu immediately exclaimed in surprise. "Ah!" Lin Changqing immediately asked, "What did you feel just now?" Zhao Linayu quickly replied, "The silver rune on my soul sent a message for me to stand up." Lin Changqing was stunned for a moment when he heard it. He felt very strange. Why did she say that there was a silver rune on her soul? He tried again and sent a new command to the golden rune. Then he asked, "What did you feel this time?" Zhao Linayu replied, "The rune sent a message for me to clean myself up." Lin Changqing understood a little bit. The oath of heaven made by Zhao Linayu made her form a silver rune on her soul, and this rune could actually receive the command he sent to her through the golden rune. So he turned his head and looked at Su Miniang, saying, "You heard her words, is there a silver rune on your soul?" Su Miniang quickly shook her head and said, "No, master, there is no silver rune in my soul or sea of consciousness." Lin Changqing nodded a little disappointedly. He believed that Su Miniang would not dare to lie to him. So he continued to study the golden rune. If there was no limit to the distance of transmitting commands, then this ability would be powerful, but Lin Changqing knew that there would be no such good thing. He just didn't know how far this distance was, so Lin Changqing decided to give it a try. First, let Su Miniang untie the ropes on her body. Zhao Linayu was now full of urine smell, and Lin Changqing would not touch her. "You go to the yard with Su Miniang first, clean yourself up, and then come to see me." After saying that, he threw a storage bag to her. Inside was the clothes of the 6 robbers in the group and various daily necessities. All were returned to Zhao Linayu to deal with by herself. There were things she needed in it. While the 2 of them were washing their bodies, Lin Changqing wanted to sort out his thoughts. Why didn't Muse Ioxio and Su Miniang form silver runes on their souls when they made the Heavenly Dao oath, but Zhao Linayu did? The content of the oath is similar. The only difference is that the space they are in is different when they swear. Su Miniang made the oath in the main space outside, and Muse Ioxio made the oath in the Jiang secret realm. But in fact, the Jiang secret realm should be an independent space that was separated from the main space by the ancient great power a long time ago and controlled by a magic circle, but it still belongs to the main space, that is, it is still controlled by the same Heavenly Dao. But the place where Zhao Linayu swore was Lin Changliu's inner space, which should not be controlled by the Heavenly Dao, because this inner space was nurtured by Lin Changliu himself little by little, and the Heavenly Dao here is Lin Changliu. So Zhao Linayu swore here, and it was Lin Changliu who responded to her, which explains why the effects of almost the same oath are so different. I also understand why I feel close to it. One person and one plant have lived and died together, how can they not be close? Taoist couples may not have such a close relationship. Chapter 177 Heavy Water Wave Control Sutra. Lin Changqing is now thinking about how to make use of this, whether to go outside, find an opportunity to capture hundreds of cultivators with good spiritual roots and talents, enter the inner space, and force them to swear to be his subordinates. Then, can he just wait for them to send resources to his door, and he can practice with all his strength? Just when he was thinking beautifully, he didn't expect that a will came from the bottom of his heart. Lin Changqing could only feel the general meaning. That is, the carrying capacity of a person's soul is limited. With his soul strength comparable to the initial stage of foundation building, he can only bear 9 such runes at most. Now he has 3, and there are 6 more to reach the limit. Lin Changqing was immediately depressed. Such a beautiful plan has not yet been implemented, but it has been stillborn. He has already started planning to go around the territories of various forces, but he didn't expect the plan to die like this. Of course, Lin Changqing can also improve the strength of his soul, but that requires the support of his body and cultivation, otherwise there will definitely be big problems. Blindly improving the strength of the soul, that is, the consciousness, will most likely result in a boom, and the head will explode. Just think about the body of key refining stage, and put a powerful soul of purple mansion stage into it, and you can roughly imagine the consequences. It is impossible to improve the strength of the soul in a short time, so Lin Changqing can only turn around and continue to study this golden rune. Unexpectedly, the more he studied, the more he liked it. This golden rune is really very convenient and practical, and it also has extremely powerful control ability. Not only can it transmit orders, but it can also punish subordinates. As long as the mind moves, the subordinates will have a splitting headache. Of course, as long as Lin Changqing makes up his mind and moves his mind, he can destroy the golden rune, and the subordinates will naturally die immediately. It is simply perfect, but it's a pity that the number is limited. Alice. About a quarter of an hour later, Su Miniang and Zhao Liaoyu came out together. It seems that just this moment of getting along has brought them closer. But now is not the time to care about this, so he directly ordered Zhao Liaoyu, turn around and walk straight, all the way to the edge of this space. Zhao Liaoyu hurriedly agreed, and then began to approach the edge of the space, and Lin Changqing himself walked in the opposite direction. During the journey, I felt that the inner space seemed to be a little bigger. I will measure it later when I have time. When the distance between the two was the greatest, Lin Changqing directly sent 2 commands to the golden rune. Then he returned to the place where he had just started. Zhao Liaoyu happened to come back. Lin Changqing asked directly, "How can I receive it? What is the content?" It asked me if I have any treasures, asked me to take them out quickly, and asked me to return to the place where I just started, Zhao Liaoyu replied. Lin Changqing nodded, and was overjoyed. Yes, these 2 contents were just transmitted. This confirmed that in the inner space, the commands sent by Lin Changqing through the golden rune are now not restricted by distance. Of course, if the space is enlarged in the future, it will still be the same. I don't know. But at least it is not restricted now. There is also this function. I have to find an opportunity to go to the outside world in the future to try it out. How far is the limit? The inner space is still too small now. But I'd better wait for an opportunity to go outside later. At least in the short term, it is not appropriate to let Zhao Liaoyu go out. After all, he was still in Tongshan village. There were many villagers who were caught and forced to work as absentees. They had seen her as a robber cultivator and must have been impressed by her. It was better not to let her go out. He glanced at the 2 of them and said, "When you were cleaning your body just now, you had secretly asked Su Miniang, right? So should you take out any treasures now?" Su Miniang was shocked when she heard this and quickly explained, "Master, I didn't say anything. I just told her that she should trust you. I was in the same situation as her. I didn't say anything else." Zhao Liaoyu also quickly said, "Master, I did ask some questions just now, but this sister didn't say anything. She just advised me to trust you. She didn't reveal anything else." Lin Changqing waved his hand and said lightly, "I know she did a good job. I don't mean to blame her. But I am only interested in your treasure now. Tell me. What is it?" Su Miniang was relieved after hearing what Lin Changqing said. She felt relieved and felt that her master was still very reasonable and didn't blame or punish her without knowing the truth. Zhao Liaoyu started to introduce, "Master, our Zhao family's ancestor was a purple mansion great perfection cultivator of the Danding sect 400 or 500 years ago. With his fire-related magical powers and spells, he also made a great reputation among his peers in the 6 sects at that time. Later, he and several fellow disciples in the Danding sect went to explore a dangerous place to look for possible opportunities to form a pill. But after entering, no one came out again. Without the protection of the great-grandfather, the Zhao family began to decline from that time. Fortunately, before the great-grandfather set out, he had made very sufficient preparations and left a batch of cultivation resources and inheritance of exercises for the family. However, the younger generations of the Zhao family are not good. After so many years, No outstanding figures have emerged. The highest has only cultivated to the foundation building stage. Moreover, after hundreds of years of consumption and loss, the cultivation resources have long been consumed, and there is nothing left. Now there is only a spiritual plant master inheritance and the two most important exercises. Hearing this, Lin Changqing's heart moved. Could it be that he was going to win the jackpot? I couldn't help but ask, are those two skills the 9 Yang Burning Heaven Sutra and the One Tree Becomes a Forest Sutra? Zhao Linai was a little surprised, but still shook her head and said, no, those are the core skills of the Danding sect. How could they be so easily passed on? Moreover, as a true disciple of the Danding sect, my great-grandfather would never break his oath and leak the core skills of the sect. The two skills left by my great-grandfather were obtained by his own adventure, and it was because of these two skills that my grandfather's generation had to leave the Danding sect's sphere of influence and come to the Qinghai sect. It was because of the leak of the news that a deacon of the Danding sect wanted to seize the two skills from our family. That's why we have fallen to the point of becoming casual cultivators. But if we don't leave, the biggest possibility is that we will lose the skills, and we won't be able to survive, because we will definitely be silenced. Hearing that it was not the core skills of the Danding sect, Lin Changqing was a little disappointed, but he continued to ask, what are those two skills and where are they now? Zhao Linai hesitated for a moment, but she made up her mind and said, I originally intended to give these two techniques and the inheritance of the spiritual plant master to the master. But I hope the master can let me make a copy and leave a memory for the Zhao family. She looked at Lin Changqing expectantly. Lin Changqing nodded. This is possible. You can't pick other people's fruits and pull out the trees for them. When the time comes, you can make a copy of each of them. Now can you tell me what kind of amazing techniques are? And didn't you say you were a casual cultivator? How come there is a Zhao family? Lin Changqing asked curiously. Hearing that Lin Changqing agreed to let her leave a copy for the Zhao family, Zhao Linai was overjoyed. It seemed that the master was not such a ruthless person. Thank you, master, for your help. The two techniques are the Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra and the Heavy Water Controlling Waves Sutra. The Controlling Waves Sutra requires heavy water to practice, and no one in the Zhao family has ever chosen this technique. The first level heavy water is fine, but buying the second level heavy water is not something that ordinary cultivators can afford. Not to mention the third level and fourth level heavy water in the future, so no one in the Zhao family dares to practice this technique, or should we say, they can't afford it. Although I am the only cultivator left in the Zhao family, there are still hundreds of ordinary people in the Zhao family. Maybe in the future, there will be people with spiritual roots born, so that the Zhao family will have hope again. Chapter 178, Pointing to the Great Dao. In fact, when Lin Changqing heard about the Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra, his heart was already shaking violently. The practice of this Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra requires heavy water, which is a perfect match for his Zuinigan heavy water bottle. There is no need to go out to buy it. There is as much first and second level heavy water as you want, and there are also a lot of third and fourth level reserves. Even fifth level heavy water is ready. The most important thing is that his mother Su Wenying majored in water, and this Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra is the most suitable for her to practice. Now the question is, where's the technique hidden, and what level can this technique be practiced to? As for what Zhao Linai said about the ordinary people of the Zhao family, he was not very interested, and he didn't listen much. What he thought about in his heart were the two techniques. So where are the two techniques you mentioned now? Lin Changqing asked directly. In Saojia village, Fengtai County, Qinghai Prefecture, the jade slip of the technique is in my grandfather's tomb, in a stone box under his coffin. The inheritance of the spiritual plant master and some ordinary techniques are all in the secret room of the family ancestral hall in the village. Zhao Linai simply told him everything. Lin Changqing nodded, knowing that Zhao Linai would not lie to him since she had said so much in detail. Besides, he had already promised to leave a copy for the Zhao family, so there was no need to lie to him, unless she didn't want to live anymore. In this case, Zhao Linai must stay in the space. She already knew the existence of the inner space, and there was a danger of exposing the inner space if she was released outside, so let her stay here first. I will find time to look for it. If I find it, I will leave you a copy, provided that you don't lie to me. Zhao Linai said quickly. No, I dare not lie to the master. Only my father and I know this secret. Since his death, I am the only one who knows it. Lin Changqing nodded. This is the best, so he continued to ask, then do you know What level can the 2 exercises in your family be cultivated to? Zhao Linyu tried to recall, and said uncertainly, I remember when I was a child, I heard my father say that these 2 exercises seem to be top-level exercises that can point directly to the Tao. Then in my understanding, the meaning of pointing directly to the Tao should at least be able to be cultivated to the level of spirit transformation. But my father, he also heard about it from my grandfather. How is it? Let's wait for the master to get the jade slips of the exercises and see it for himself. Hearing Zhao Linyu say that the 2 exercises can point directly to the Tao, Lin Changqing's heart beat violently a few times. He was full of expectations and couldn't wait to get the jade slips of the exercises. But after listening to her words, I felt that I didn't need to be happy so early. I should wait until I got the jade slip to find out the specific situation. Maybe a cultivator in the key refining stage, with his eyes pointing directly to the great Tao, is in the golden core stage. This is also very possible and can be explained. Don't hold too much hope now, lest the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Lin Changqing nodded, agreeing with Zhao Linyu's statement, and no longer entangled with this issue. So he continued. Tell me about your own spiritual roots and age first. And tell me about your specialties, I will see how to arrange you. Zhao Linyu nodded and introduced, I have 4 spiritual roots, wood, water, gold, and earth. The 5 elements are missing fire. Among them, the wood spiritual root is the highest attribute, with 39 points, so I practice the wood-based green wood Chongchunju. I am 32 years old this year. At the beginning of this year, I just advanced to the 8th level of key refining. I am a first-class top-grade spiritual plant master, and I also know a little bit of beast-taming skills, but I don't have a special inheritance. I can take care of spirit beasts. After saying this, she looked at Lin Changqing expectantly, obviously hoping to get some recognition from Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing thought for a moment and said to her, how about this, from now on you will stay in the space and keep Su Mini and company, and you can help take care of the spiritual medicines and spiritual plants planted in the space when you are free. I have 3 spiritual pets in the space, which are auspicious spiritual beasts 3-colored deer. They are natural spiritual plant masters, and now they are taking care of the spiritual medicines and spiritual plants in the space. They are my most important and best helpers, and you can also divide the work and cooperate with them, but they should be the main focus in taking care of high-level spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. There are also spiritual medicines and spiritual fruits in the space. You cannot take them without my permission, especially the 100-year-old red fruit, the foundation building fruit, and the earth soul fruit. Do you understand? Zhao Linyu nodded quickly and said, I understand. I am responsible for taking care of some low and medium level spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. I will never and dare not touch mature spiritual medicines and fruits without the master's permission, so please rest assured, master. Lin Changqing nodded and continued, of course, you can eat some ordinary spiritual fruits at will. Ordinary spiritual fruits like long fruit, spiritual peach, and spiritual apricot are fine. Eat more if you like. If you practice, you will be provided with some medium and upper grade key gathering pills. When you have completed the key refining grade perfection, you will be given a foundation building pill or a foundation building fruit. All of the above are considered as the reward for you to take out 2 exercises. After the foundation building, you will have to fight for what treatment you can get. I don't support idle people here. But at least from now until the foundation building period, you can practice here with peace of mind. After that, he took out 10 bottles of key gathering pills from the storage bag, including 5 bottles of medium grade and 5 bottles of high grade, and gave them to Zhao Linyu. The storage bag had already given 1 bottle, so there was no need to give more. Zhao Linyu didn't expect that Lin Changqing would actually give her resources to practice, and would give her a foundation building pill or a foundation building fruit in the future. This greatly exceeded her expectations. If she had known this, she would have come to be his slave even if she cried and shouted. She was very happy and excited to thank Lin Changqing. Thank you, master. I will work hard in the future and take good care of the spiritual medicines and plants here. Then she respectfully took the 10 bottles of elixirs and put them in the storage bag. Lin Changqing was very satisfied with her attitude and suddenly remembered to plant some spiritual rice so that they could be self-sufficient in the space. So he ordered, if you have time these few days, you can turn over 10 acres of land first. I plan to grow some spiritual rice for you as food. And since you can take care of spiritual beasts, I will find an opportunity to bring in some poultry and livestock, such as 8 treasure chicken for you to raise. But you have to take good care of them and never let them run around and ruin my spiritual medicines, spiritual herbs, and spiritual plants. Also, if you have time, you can also work with Su Miniang to expand the pond. Let's expand it 3 or 4 times. At that time, I will bring in some spiritual fish seedlings and raise some spiritual fish in that pond. It can also be regarded as increasing the utilization rate of space, and by the way, improve your diet. Su Miniang and Zhao Liai were overjoyed when they heard it, and quickly agreed. The arrangements for things in the inner space came to an end. Just now on the way to the edge of the space, Lin Changqing felt that the space seemed to be a little bigger. Since leaving Lin Changqing to clean up the red refining fire copper vein, the area of the space has not been measured, and it is unknown how many acres of land have been added. I was busy with other things just now. Now that I have time, I might as well measure it. Throw the 2 bodies that are in the way on the ground into the deep pit for Lin Changqing to absorb and digest. Then start measuring with the deep pit as the origin. After some trouble, I finally counted it out. More than 60 acres of land have been added. Now there are 1,190 acres of land in total. In the future, the land area in the space will become larger and larger. The space is not small now. If I don't measure it, I won't feel much if I add dozens of acres of land. The inner space will only get bigger and bigger in the future, so big that Lin Changqing can't measure it. I am really looking forward to that day. After patrolling the inner space, I didn't find any problems. He also told Liu Yaoqiang's family, as well as Su Miniang and Zhao Liu, that both parties should get along well and cooperate with each other. After getting satisfactory feedback, they will prepare to exit the inner space. Chapter 179, Calming the Nerves and Clearing the Wounds. Suddenly, he remembered that he had not given Su Miniang some 100 flowers soul-intoxicating wine to completely heal her soul injury. Since he was going to give Su Miniang some spiritual wine, he should give some to Zhao Liu as well. She was also stung by the purple crystal scorpion, and her soul was also injured. For the sake of the 2 techniques, Lin Changqing felt that he should still be a little bit nice to her. If the techniques could really be cultivated to the spiritualization stage, then his mother would have succeeded in cultivation, and it would be considered as Zhao Liu's favor. Lin Changqing had to admit this. So he said to the 2 of them, "Take me to your room. I have some precious spiritual objects that can help you heal your soul injuries." Su Miniang was very happy and excited when she heard this. She finally waited for this good news and could solve the stubborn disease that had been bothering her. This soul injury almost drove her crazy. She hurriedly thanked Lin Changqing, then took Zhao Liu, and the 3 of them returned to the yard. Since Zhao Liu was stung by the purple crystal scorpion, she has often had bouts of pain in her head. But she was locked in the Lingzhen bracelet some time ago, and she didn't know when Lin Changqing pulled her out and killed her. It can be said that life and death are unpredictable, so she has no mood to care about this issue. She just endured it for a while, and then she didn't care about it. Now that she has finally saved her life, and knowing that Lin Changqing has spiritual objects to heal their spiritual injuries, she is also very happy and excited. After all, that feeling is like stewing a knife and cutting meat, which is really uncomfortable. Seeing the expectant eyes of the 2, Lin Changqing thought for a moment and said, "The spiritual object I'm going to take out later is a high-level spiritual wine. It's called Beihuzuhan wine. It has the magical effect of strengthening the foundation, nourishing the essence, calming the mind and clearing wounds. This thing is extraordinarily precious. After taking it, you will feel the fragrance of various flowers blooming in your mouth, heart, and soul. People seem to be swimming in a sea of flowers, appreciating the grace and fragrance of thousands of flowers, refreshing and lingering, and you will be intoxicated unconsciously. Then you will sleep for a few hours, and when you wake up, you will basically improve your cultivation by 1 level, and your whole body will feel relaxed from the inside out. After you have taken it, you will know its magic." Let Su Miniang come first. They nodded repeatedly after hearing this. Now that Lin Changqing said that this was a fairy wine, they had to nod in agreement. Who told them to be helpless and live under someone else's roof now? However, both of them felt that what Lin Changqing said was exaggerated, but they didn't dare to show it. However, Lin Changqing had already sensed it through the 2 runes in his sea of consciousness, but he did not point out their thoughts. When the time came, they would naturally understand the preciousness of this 100 flowers soul-intoxicating wine. When Su Miniang heard that she was asked to go first, she took 2 steps forward and came to Lin Changqing. After Lin Changqing finished speaking, he cast an aura shield on himself to prevent the wine aroma from getting on his body, and then took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle. He took a small ball 100 flowers soul intoxicating wine. Considering that they all had injuries on their souls, Lin Changqing deliberately added a little more for her. As soon as the spiritual wine came out, it immediately overflowed with fragrance, making people feel it's extraordinary. Su Miniang hurried forward to swallow it in one gulp, and then planned to find a place to sit cross-legged to refine it. Lin Changqing said directly, "Go to the bed. If you can't refine it, you will fall into deep sleep soon." When Su Miniang heard it, she hurried to the bed and sat cross-legged, and sure enough, she fell asleep on the bed after a while. Lin Changqing took a look and ignored her. He turned to Zhao Liao and said, "It's your turn. Just find a room first." Zhao Liao nodded and chose the room next to Su Miniang. Lin Changqing also took a ball of spiritual wine, which was about the same size as before. Zhao Liao immediately went forward to swallow it, then immediately lay down on the bed and soon fell into deep sleep. Lin Changqing smiled. This Zhao Liao was smart and knew how to learn from Su Miniang's experience. After leaving the yard and preparing to exit the space, he didn't expect Lu Yaoqiang's family to come and surround him again, yo-yo non-stop. Lu Xiaoling even put her head into Lin Changqing's arms, yo-yo, and tried her best to act coquettishly to Lin Changqing. From the looks of it, she should have smelled the fragrance of Beihuzuhan wine, and had a headache. Lu Yaoqiang and Lu Xiao were okay. After all, their digestion ability was much stronger after building the foundation. If they were given 100-year-old red fruit, they would be able to digest it in no time. But Lu Xiaoling couldn't do that. It had only entered the late stage of the first stage a few months ago, and Lin Changqing had given it half a red fruit not long ago. Now it really couldn't be given any more. If it was given a spiritual nourishing pill, it probably wouldn't be able to coax it. It was also a headache to be the boss now. After thinking about it, he made a decision. He returned to the yard and closed the door. He took out 300-year-old red fruits, cut them all, and put away 3 fruit cores first. Just as he was about to open the door and come out, he didn't expect Lu Yaoqiang's family to have jumped over the wall. He forgot that the wall was only 2.5 meters high, and they could get in with just a light jump. Lin Changqing immediately frowned, taught them a lesson, and told them not to do this in the future. After getting a satisfactory answer, he began to divide the spiritual fruit. He gave Lu Yaoqiang 1.5 red fruits, Lu Xiaoyu 1, and Lu Xiaoling half a red fruit. Only in this way could they be barely appeased, and then he quickly exited the inner space. He took out the tea set and brewed Qingyu tea. He sat in the living room and tasted it slowly, and by the way, thought about what to do next. Lu Zinai's adventure cave, now with Zhao Liao's 2 skills and the 3rd-level spiritual plant master inheritance, are all in Qilian Prefecture, one in Beishan County, and the other in Fengtai County. Lin Changqing took out a map given by his grandfather, found it on the map, and roughly planned the route. From here to Jianzhou Prefecture Fangxi, take the Wanbei Pavilion's passenger ship to Qilian Prefecture, and then go to Fengtai County first, which is closer. And then go to Beishan County after finishing. This place is really too remote. It takes 3 or 4 days to fly from Fengtai County to Beishan County. It can be regarded as the periphery of Qingyuan Mountains. No wonder it is called Beishan County. Now that the route is planned, the next step is to discuss it with Chen Ziya. Her plan is to stay at home for a few months to accompany her parents and family. So Lin Changqing thought that this time he would go alone, and it would be more convenient to move. As for the Fa Chen restriction in Lu Zinai's adventure cave, Lin Changqing didn't believe it could stop Lin Changliu's roots from penetrating. If it can really be blocked, I believe it is useless for Chen Ziya to go, and if this happens, she must hide far away. Because this is obviously beyond the limit that a cultivator in the key refining stage can handle, it is better to go a little further first, and come back to explore when the cultivation level is higher in the future. This is the wisest choice. However, it has not been long since the two of them confirmed their relationship. Now Lin Changqing suddenly wants to leave. I don't know if Chen Ziya will be uncomfortable and reluctant to let him leave. Forget it, let's talk about it in a few days. It is estimated that in a few days, his 7th Thunder Acupoint will be successfully opened. Lin Changqing is ready to wait until it succeeds before talking about Chen Ziya's leaving. Moreover, After he changed his cultivation, all kinds of medicinal power hidden in his body that were not attracted have been completely digested, and he can take the 100-year-old red fruit again. This time he plans to take 2 to break through the 6th level of key refining. Otherwise, if he always wears the 5th level of key refining and walks outside, others will think that he is a little fat sheep. Soon a pot of green jade tea was finished, and the subsequent itinerary was also planned. It's too early to rest now. Time can't be wasted. Let's start practicing the Thunder Sutra. Activate the Spirit Gathering Array, sit cross-legged and get into position, start practicing the exercises, and the Thunder Spirit will continuously stimulate the acupuncture points. The familiar feelings came again. After 2 hours, the whole body was sweating and the energy was completely consumed. Su Minyang has been put into the inner space. Now there is no one to massage Lin Changqing's muscles. I don't want to enter the inner space again today. That's it. After cleaning my body outside, I went back to the room and laid down to rest. Chapter 180 Taming and Not Giving Up. The next morning, after completing the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra, Lin Changqing began to feed the purple crystal scorpion in the spirit beast bracelet, crushing some monster meat and throwing it in. When they were almost done eating, he threw another portion of ice crystal in, which they slowly gnawed. The next one was Maokyu. This was the easiest, and he just gave it a soul-raising pill. This little guy now basically stays in Lin Changqing's room and doesn't go out. Because the 2 golden winged birds were outside, Maokyu slipped out last time and was almost taken as a snack by Chuai's wife. It is estimated that Maokyu was scared and had a psychological shadow. The black tiger cub did not forget it either, but only gave it some monster meat. Next was Chuai and his wife. Lin Changqing specially cut the monster meat into strips, and then called down the 2 golden winged birds, and began to feed one to Chuai and one to his wife, and then took turns feeding them. Lin Changqing has recently used this method to build trust with Chuai's wife. When they are full, he feeds each of them a soul-raising pill. Lin Changqing remembered that the family's book Records of Spiritual Beasts in Qingyuan Mountain Range said that adult wild golden winged birds are unruly and difficult to tame. Lin Changqing has Chuai as a bond, and wants to try to tame it successfully. Although it can accept Lin Changqing's feeding now, it will fly away when he approaches to touch it. He has tried several times. However, Lin Changqing is not in a hurry. Take it slowly. As long as it does not separate from Chuai, there will always be a chance. And Lin Changqing has not yet used a big move. Liu Yaoqiang's family will be desperate when they smell the Beihuzuhan wine. I think Chuai's wife can't stand the temptation of the spirit wine. Wait a few days. If it still doesn't surrender, it won't be too late for Lin Changqing to use a big move. Anyway, try to get it done before leaving for Jiayuan Mansion. Otherwise it will be a bit inconvenient. Because I must bring Chuai with me at that time, but Chuai can enter the spirit beast bracelet, but his wife may not be willing to enter. In this way, they can't take it away, and the 2 golden winged birds will be forced to separate. What if it is kidnapped by another golden winged bird? So try to deal with it before departure. After feeding all the spiritual pets, Chen Ziya also came over. Now the 2 of them have to meet every day, leaning against each other to drink tea and chat, and they chat for half a day before going back to accompany the parents and family. Lin Changqing performed a water ball technique and washed his hands. Chen Ziya had already started to brew spiritual tea. After quietly appreciating Chen Ziya's performance, Lin Changqing ran over and leaned against her. The 2 began to drink tea and chat about daily life. The main thing is that Lin Changqing is no longer satisfied with holding hands, since he hugged Chen Ziya that day. Now it has developed to the point where he has to hug her waist when drinking tea. Every time he sees Chen Ziya, the ice and snow girl, blushing shyly, Lin Changqing feels very happy and has a sense of accomplishment. But today is a bit special. The 2 of them had only drunk half of their tea when a disheveled guest arrived. This time, it was not Lin Changqing who discovered it, but Chuai and his wife who discovered it. Chuai informed Lin Changqing that they were now cruising high above Lin Changqing's head. He said to Chen Ziya, "We have guests again. It should be that Liu Yuntao who came again." Chen Ziya chuckled and said, "Then I'll go to the back garden to make tea for the guests, and you can go to the door to greet him." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "Okay, that's it. I wonder what he wants to do this time." Then, Lin Changqing went to the gate of the Chen family and waited. After a while, a figure landed at the door with a sword. It was Liu Yuntao. "Hello, fellow Taoist Liu. Hello, fellow Taoist Lin. Sorry to bother you again, Liu Yantao said apologetically. Lin Changqing smiled and did not pick up his topic, but said directly, Junior Sister Chen is already preparing spiritual tea for the guests. Let's talk in the back garden, Liu Yantao readily agreed. When they arrived at the back garden, Chen Ziya and Liu Yantao greeted each other, and the three of them sat down as host and guest. Chen Ziya brought 2 cups of tea to the two of them. Brother, fellow Taoist Liu, please have some tea. Thank you, Fairy Chen. Liu Yantao thanked them and took a sip of the tea. He did not directly tell them the purpose of his visit, but chatted with them about all sorts of things. After 3 rounds of tea, he began to talk about the purpose of his visit. I found the place that fellow Taoist Lin mentioned, but it is deserted and even the entire mine has been destroyed, Liu Yantao said helplessly. Oh, that's great. Does this mean that these robbery cultivators will never come back in the future? Lin Changqing said with a pretended happy look. This may be the only good news. I think these robbery cultivators must have carried out destructive excavation before destroying the mine. I guess they destroyed the mine when they had almost finished digging, Liu Yantao guessed. Lin Changqing nodded. If it were me, I would definitely dig as much as I can. By the way, I wonder what is the purpose of Brother Liu coming here this time? Liu Yantao glanced at Lin Changqing and said, I asked the villagers who were rescued by you, and they all said that the Kuang vein has been almost mined. There's only a little bit left, or they are afraid that they will be killed to silence them after they finish mining, so they deliberately control the speed of mining and don't mine it so quickly. This proves that all the Kuang stones above the 9th and 5th layers of the entire Kuang vein are already in the possession of that group of casual cultivators. Brother Lin has met with one of them, and I would like to ask you to work with the Liu family to track down the whereabouts of that group of robbers. After the task is accomplished, 3 layers of the profits will be given to Brother Lin. What do you think? Lin Changqing did not expect that the Liu family would not give up. But people are dead, so why bother to track down heir? He shook his head and said, Indeed, I had a face-to-face encounter with one of the robber cultivators at the 6th level of key refining. However, I was lucky enough to escape unscathed at the 5th level of key refining. Thinking about it now, I'm still scared. So I won't take part in the investigation of that group of robber cultivators. I can, however, draw a portrait of that robber cultivator and give it to fellow Taoist Liu. If the Liu family really recovers those Guangxi, they don't have to share any of them with me. I just need to take care of Tongshan village more often. Liu Yantao was a little disappointed after hearing what Lin Changqing said, but thinking that he had the portrait of one of them, it was also a little gain. So he nodded and said, Since fellow Taoist Lin doesn't want to participate, I can't force him. I'll trouble fellow Taoist Lin to draw a portrait of that robbery cultivator for me. If the Liu family can really find that group of people, they will definitely not forget fellow Taoist Lin and Fairy Chen's copy. Lin Changqing nodded and said, That's easy. I'll draw it for fellow Taoist Liu now. After that, he took out an empty jade slip, put it on his forehead, and began to depict the body shape and face of the 6th level robbery cultivator, and then handed it to Liu Yantao. Liu Yantao took the jade slip, put it on his forehead to check, and saw that Lin Changqing had depicted the robbery cultivator very vividly. He believed that he would be able to recognize it as long as he saw it once, and he was very satisfied with the effect. He solemnly put away the jade slip and thanked Lin Changqing, saying, Thank you, fellow Taoist Lin, you are really versatile. You depicted the robbery cultivator so vividly that people can remember it at a glance. I admire you, Lin Changqing smiled secretly in his heart. He had only reached that level, and only had a little sketching skills. He sighed and said, Fellow Taoist Liu, you are too kind. It's just that what happened that day was so profound to me that I could draw it more vividly. Normally, I couldn't draw it if you asked me to. And what fellow Taoist said just now about giving me and my junior sister a share, we won't accept this. After all, there is no reward without merit. If the Liu family can recover those Kuang stones this time, I would like to ask fellow Taoist to take care of Tongshan village, especially junior sister Chen's family. After all, we only come back once in a long time, and some things are beyond our reach. When Liu Yantao heard Lin Changqing's request, he immediately agreed, Fellow Taoist Lin, what are you talking about? Even if we can't recover those Kuang stones this time, for the sake of the 2 fellow Taoists, the Liu family will take care of Tongshan village more, not to mention Fairy Chen's family. At this time, Chen Ziya also said, That really troubles fellow Taoist and the Liu family. I will tell my grandmother when I return to the sect." Liu Yantao was overjoyed when he heard this. If he could get in touch with the high-level officials of Qinghai sect through this incident, the Liu family would have a much wider road ahead. He hurriedly thanked Chen Ziya. "Thank you for your kind words, fairy. Your family can be left to the care of the Liu family." The host and the guest were very happy here. Liu Yantao sat for a while and then left. He wanted to send the jade slip back to the family as soon as possible. Then he would do his best to find the whereabouts of this group of robbers, as this was related to several foundation-building pills. Chapter 181 Extraordinary Effect. After seeing Liu Yantao off, the two returned to the yard where Lin Changqing lived. Chen Ziya said, "Brother, I always feel a little sorry for fooling fellow Taoist Liu like this. They are destined to do useless work this time." Lin Changqing nodded. "Yeah, I didn't expect fellow Taoist Liu to be so persistent. They had run away, but they still wanted to recover the ores. However, we can't tell them that you don't have to look for it. The ores of Chilean Huatuakuang are all here. It will be even more troublesome then. And these are all my spoils of war. I am definitely unwilling to hand them over. The Liu family will think that Kuangmei is on their family's territory. If they don't give them some, they will be flattered and feel uncomfortable. That's why they keep tracking it down. So this is the only way. If the Liu family really asks your grandmother for something in the future, you can say a few good words to them as compensation for their losses this time." Chen Ziya sighed lightly and nodded. "This is the only way now. I hope they don't insist too long and give up early. They have been searching for a while without any results, so they will naturally stop looking. Don't worry. If you don't let them look now, they will be unwilling," Lin Changqing comforted. Chen Ziya also understood this truth, so she didn't say anything. The two talked for a while, and when they saw that it was almost time, Chen Ziya went back. The main reason was that Liu Yantao's visit today delayed the two of them for a lot of time. Since Chen Ziya went back, Lin Changqing activated the maze array and prepared to start practicing magic. This was Lin Changqing's own plan. Only by persevering in practice can you get the best results. Lightning control technique, water control technique, 5 elements escape technique. Everything was not left behind, and soon 3 or 4 hours passed. Lin Changqing still saw that it was already evening outside, so he stopped practicing. Thinking of last night, I gave Su Miniang and Zhao Liayu some 100 flowers intoxicating wine. After so long, the two should have absorbed it and woken up. Now go into the inner space to see the situation. With a thought, he quickly entered the inner space. After dealing with the enthusiastic Liu Yaoqiang family, Su Miniang and Zhao Liayu were already waiting quietly by the side. Just now, the two saw the master playing with a little deer, so they didn't disturb them. Now seeing that Lin Changqing noticed them, the two greeted in unison, "Little maids, meet the master, thank you for the magical wine." Seeing that the two had already reached the 9th level of key refining, Lin Changqing couldn't help but nod. He was not surprised at all that Su Miniang could advance to the 9th level, but felt that it was natural. Unexpectedly, Zhao Liayu, who had only advanced to the 8th level of key refining at the beginning of the year, could successfully advance to the 9th level in just a few months. This made Lin Changqing sigh at the magic and power of the 100 flowers intoxicating wine. At the same time, this also made Lin Changqing wonder if he was too conservative. Now it was a good opportunity to ask Zhao Liayu how she felt after the advancement, whether she felt that her foundation was unstable or something. After figuring it out, she first asked Su Miniang, "Have the injuries on your soul healed? How do you feel after advancing to the 9th level?" After hearing what Lin Changqing said, Su Miniang replied happily, "Master, the injuries on my soul have completely healed. The pain in my head that occurs every once in a while is gone. And it hasn't happened since I woke up. Instead, I feel relaxed from the inside out, as if my body has become much lighter. And as soon as I woke up, I found that I was already at the 9th level of key refining. After checking, I felt that my foundation was very solid, and I didn't have the sense of emptiness after just advancing. The master really gave me a magical wine. Yesterday I thought the master was exaggerating, but I didn't expect that the statement yesterday was too modest." Lin Changqing nodded, looked at Zhao Liayu again, and asked, "How do you feel? You just advanced to the 8th level of key refining at the beginning of this year, and now you have advanced to the 9th level in just a few months. Do you feel that your foundation is empty and unsolid?" Do you feel that you will fall back to the 8th level of key refining at any time? Seeing Lin Changqing asking her, Zhao Linyu quickly replied, My lord, I was also shocked when I woke up. I didn't expect that I really advanced to the 9th level of key refining without knowing it. In terms of foundation, although it is not as solid as Main Yang's, I don't feel that kind of empty. It's like the effect of practicing for 1 or 2 years after ordinary advancement. After listening to what Zhao Linyu said, Lin Changqing's heart moved. If so, can I also upgrade the purple crystal scorpion group to the late stage of the first stage, although they have also only advanced for a few months? As soon as this idea came up, it spread wildly in my mind and could no longer be stopped. The purple crystal scorpion is Lin Changqing's most important support, and at that time, in order to help the purple crystal scorpion with a broken giant claw grow back its giant claw, it was indeed given a spiritual medicine to advance to the late stage of the first stage and grow the missing giant claw. And it is also the only purple crystal scorpion in the scorpion group in the late stage of the first stage. Decided to feed the purple crystal scorpion group with Beihuzuhan liquor in a while, so that they can all advance to the late stage of the first stage. After looking at Zhao Linyu, he said, I will leave in a few days to visit Fengtai County. I will let you out when I get there. Don't let me down then. Zhao Linyu quickly said, No, I dare not deceive my master. Lin Changqing nodded and stopped talking about this topic. He told the two of them, practice here with peace of mind. Remember to do what I said yesterday. Su Miniang and the others quickly agreed. Then, Lin Changqing withdrew from the space and returned to the room. He released all 123 first-level middle-grade purple crystal scorpions, but did not release the first-level late-stage one. Then, every 5 of them were divided into a team, for a total of 25 teams. He cast a spiritual light shield on himself to prevent the fragrance from getting on his body, and then took out a Zuinun heavy water bottle and took 5 balls of Beihuzuhan liquor of the right size. Unexpectedly, all the purple crystal scorpions immediately became excited, and the 25 teams that had just been arranged were also in chaos. All the purple crystal scorpions swarmed towards Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing was speechless. He was afraid of this. He immediately forced them not to move through the contract and told the little guys that they all had it. Only then did he barely calm them down. Then he didn't dare to delay. He took the principle of proximity and grabbed one to feed it a little spiritual wine. He took it back into the spiritual beast bracelet and repeated this process until all the purple crystal scorpions were fed with Beihuzuhan wine. He checked again and confirmed that there were no omissions. All the first-level medium-grade purple crystal scorpions had fallen into deep sleep. Finally, everything was done. Lin Changqing breathed a sigh of relief. This process took more than an hour. Later, the little guys became scrambled again. Lin Changqing was afraid that some of the little guys would be too excited and sting Lin Changqing instead. Fortunately, they were all raised by him since childhood. They were restrained and did not have such a long incident. It can be seen from this that how attractive is Beihuzuhan wine? Even the purple crystal scorpion, a spiritual pet raised from childhood, almost lost control. I believe that Chuai's wife will definitely not be able to resist this temptation. By then, I will be able to capture it easily and coax it into signing a master-servant's contract. After all this trouble, the time is almost up, and Lin Changqing is ready to start practicing the Thunder Sutra. It should be soon, that is, in the next few days, the 7th Thunder Acupoint will be successfully opened. Then take the red fruit to advance to the 6th level of key refining, and then set off to explore and search for treasures in Fengtai County and Beishan County in Qian Prefecture. Activate the Spirit Gathering Array, sit cross-legged and get into position, and start practicing the exercises. Familiar feelings come again. After 2 hours, all the energy in the body is exhausted. Close the Spirit Gathering Array, go outside to clean up the body, and then go back to the room to lie down and rest. Chapter 182 Spiritual Prediction. The next morning, Lin Changqing got up and checked the Spirit Beast bracelet. Seeing that all the purple crystal scorpions had woken up and all successfully advanced to the late stage of the first stage, Lin Changqing was relieved. He quickly took some broken monster meat from the storage bag and threw it into the Spirit Beast bracelet for them to eat. He also took out 1,000 spirit stones for them to chew on. The little guys just advanced and needed to be supplemented. After doing all this, he sat cross-legged with peace of mind and began to practice the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra. After an hour, he completed the practice. He couldn't help but release a purple crystal scorpion, took it in his hand and studied it, and found that it was a little bigger than before, about 15 or 16 inches long. The purple color was obviously darker than before, and the tail needle was more than 3 inches long, shining with cold light, looking more scary and more lethal. The body also had the spiritual pressure fluctuations of the late stage of the first stage. It felt heavy in his hand, and he could feel the chill. I don't know if it was because he had been chewing ice crystals recently. Lin Changqing examined it. The little fellow kept looking at Lin Changqing with 8 eyes. I wonder if it became smarter because of the advancement. When Lin Changqing examined it, it could actually predict Lin Changqing's next move and cooperate. Lin Changqing was surprised to see this. He was afraid that it was just one of them, just an accident. He changed several more in succession, and they all looked similar. There was no need to look at the rest. Lin Changqing already knew that those who had not been examined should be the same. This is amazing. They can predict Lin Changqing's actions, and naturally they can also predict the actions of their opponents. Such a group of smart invisible little cuties is definitely enough to make Lin Changqing's enemies drink several pots. I just don't know if they became smarter because they took the 100 flowers drunken soul wine and advanced, or if their spirituality would increase normally after the advancement, or if it was both. I still need to pay more attention to this in the future. It's too early to draw conclusions now. Because the amethyst scorpion has advanced to the late stage and has become so smart, Lin Changqing is in a very good mood now, so when the two of them were drinking tea and chatting, Chen Ziya felt it. Could not help asking, "Brother, is there something good today? You look a little different from yesterday. You look very energetic." Lin Changqing smiled and said, "My junior sister is really a discerning person. She saw it right away. She is indeed my good wife." Hearing Lin Changqing teasing her again, Chen Ziya blushed again. She glared at him and could not help asking, "What good news made you so happy? Tell me quickly." Lin Changqing did not tease her anymore. He directly released a purple crystal scorpion from the spirit beast bracelet, held it in his hand, and let Chen Ziya observe it. Is it because this spirit scorpion has advanced? Chen Ziya observed it carefully, then understood it, and asked with a little surprise. Lin Changqing nodded and corrected, "All spirit scorpions have advanced. Now they are all in the late stage of the first stage." Lin Changqing did not say that the purple crystal scorpion had become smarter. Only as a master, who often contacts them. Can you feel it clearly? There is no need to say this specifically. However, Chen Ziya must be told about the advancement of the purple crystal scorpion. After all, she often stays with Lin Changqing, so she must be very familiar with it. It is better to tell it first, so that there will be no more scruples when using it in the future. Moreover, Chen Ziya is also the Taoist partner chosen by Lin Changqing. Although they have not yet passed the door, some little secrets should be shared with each other. Chen Ziya opened her eyes wide in surprise. Isn't that even more powerful? In the past, they could deal with key refining cultivators with just one needle. Now, maybe they can deal with foundation establishment cultivators. Lin Changqing shook his head and said, "It shouldn't be possible yet. If the foundation establishment cultivators fly, they will have no way to deal with them. So the main opponents can only be key refining cultivators. But when these little guys advance to the second level, it will be different. I believe that they should bring me more surprises at that time." Chen Ziya nodded. She was convinced of this. When she was in the secret realm, these little guys protected her, which she still remembered clearly. In the secret realm, the 24 spirit scorpions were also her reliance, giving her a great sense of security. She likes them very much. Of course, the little scorpions can be said to be the most powerful spiritual insects she has ever seen. I believe that they will be even more amazing when they reach the second stage. Brother, what are the names of these spiritual scorpions? How did they advance so quickly? Chen Ziya asked curiously. Their names are purple crystal scorpions. You can see that their whole bodies are like purple crystals. Isn't it very vivid? They advance so quickly because these little guys really grow up eating spiritual stones. Every other day, they eat a portion of top-grade spiritual crystals, and chewing spiritual stones is a common occurrence. Every year, it takes tens of thousands of spiritual stones to raise them, and this is when they have not been promoted to the second stage. If they really reach the second stage, the cost is estimated to be 3 or 5 times higher. Chen Ziya was shocked when she heard this. She didn't expect them to be so powerful and consume a lot of spiritual stones. If she had them, she wouldn't be able to raise them for 2 years. Brother, it seems that these little guys are a bottomless pit. I was thinking about waiting for them to reproduce in the future. I shamelessly asked you for some to raise, but now it seems that forget it. I can't afford it." Lin Changqing sighed. "Yeah, I dare not raise any other spiritual beasts that consume too many resources. For example, I dare not raise the black tiger cub I bought at the street stall square last time. I will give it to my sister to raise when I get home. And sister, you don't have to raise the purple crystal scorpion by yourself. If you need it in the future, you can come and borrow some from me. Anyway, you have experience." Chen Ziya laughed. "That's great, brother, you must train them well. When the little scorpions are more powerful in the future, I can borrow them to protect me better. Now it seems that my purple electric marten is easier to raise. The annual cost is estimated to be only a few hundred spirit stones. However, it is still too small now and is still growing. It sleeps after eating and eats after waking up. It's still unknown when it can help, which is far worse than the amethyst scorpion. When it grows up a little, you can train it, so that it can form the habit of obeying orders from an early age. It can also cultivate and increase the tacit understanding between the spirit beast and you." Lin Changqing began to share his experience in training spirit beasts. Chen Ziya began to ask for advice seriously, and Lin Changqing shared various games he and Chuai played with Chen Ziya to see if it would be inspiring and helpful to her. It can be seen that Chen Ziya is still very interested in taming beasts, but Lin Changqing himself is also a half-baked one. The only 10,000 beasts taming spirit scripture that can be shown off was written by Chen Hu, and its authenticity is questionable. Even Lin Changqing himself did not dare to practice it, so he dared not share it with Chen Ziya. After Lin Changqing shared all the knowledge about the training and cultivation of spirit beasts with Chen Ziya, he stopped discussing this topic. Instead, he asked Chen Ziya about her plans for the next period of time. "By the way, junior sister, how long do you plan to stay at home this time? Do you have any plans?" Chen Ziya thought for a while and said, "About half a year. Spend more time with my parents and family. These days, we are going to go to Nan County for a stroll. By the way, I'll go see my sister's family. After all, I don't know when I will come back next time." Lin Changqing nodded, so he had an idea in his mind. The two chatted for a while, and when it was almost time, Chen Ziya went back. Since Chen Ziya had gone back, Lin Changqing packed up, activated the maze array and the spirit gathering array, and began to practice various spells. Every day's time is roughly arranged to ensure that it will not be wasted. Soon 2 hours passed, and Lin Changqing also completed today's spell practice. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Taming Failure Contract. Just now, I chatted with Chen Ziya and knew that they would go to Nan County in a few days. Lin Changqing felt that this opportunity was perfect. He would tell her about going to Qian Mansion at that time. Then Chen Ziya and the others would go to visit relatives to distract their attention, so that they would not be too reluctant to leave Lin Changqing. He could rush to Qian Mansion to explore and search for treasures, but in this way, some arrangements would have to be adjusted. Originally, I wanted to spend more time with Chuai's wife for a few days to see if I could tame it through conventional means. But now time is tight. Lin Changqing doesn't want to wait any longer, so as not to delay too long, and decided to use a big move to lure it over and contract it today. After making up his mind, he walked out of the room and came to the yard. He didn't see Chuai and his wife in the nest under the eaves. It is estimated that they are playing around. Fortunately, Chuai usually doesn't stay too far away from Lin Changqing, and he always cruises within a few dozen miles of Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing's mind moved, and he began to summon Chuai back through the contract. Soon, 2 golden winged birds appeared in the sky, and soon they landed. At this time, it was clear that the relationship was different. Chuai landed directly in front of Lin Changqing, and his wife landed in their nest. After thinking about it, he asked Chuai to bring his wife to Lin Changqing's room through the contract. The reason for choosing to do this was mainly because it was a bit unsafe to take out the 100 flowers soul intoxicating wine in the yard. It was safer to go back to the room where there was a magic circle to protect it. Soon, Chuai and his wife entered the room one after another. Lin Changqing did not take out the 100 flowers soul intoxicating wine at the beginning. Instead, He conveyed through Chuyi that he wanted to sign a master-servant contract with it, so that it and Chuyi could be together forever without separation. Unexpectedly, after listening to Chuyi's retelling, it tilted its head and stared at Lin Changqing for a long time, and finally shook its head and refused. Although I had expected it in my heart, I was still a little disappointed to see that it finally refused. From this point, it proved that Lin Changqing's conventional taming method had failed. He shook his head, put aside the extra emotions temporarily, and put on a spiritual light shield for himself before taking out the Zuinun heavy water bottle. He took a ball of Beihuzuhan liquor directly from it. The aroma of the spiritual wine instantly drifted in the room, and the two golden-winged birds were immediately attracted by the fragrance and boiled. Fortunately, Chuyi was well educated by Lin Changqing since he was a child. He knew that he could not rob. Only when the master agreed and gave it to him could he eat it. So he ran directly to Lin Changqing's side, acted cute and coquettish, and kept hitting Lin Changqing with his head. His wife also surrounded him involuntarily, staring at the Beihuzuhan liquor floating in the air, looking eager to try. Lin Changqing was very satisfied with their performance. He conveyed to his wife through Chuyi that if they agreed to sign a master-servant contract, he would give it this spiritual wine and promise that there would be more spiritual wine to it at the right time in the future to help them advance to a higher level. After that, in order to make them believe it and to seduce Chuyi's wife, Lin Changqing directly took out a ball of 100 flowers soul-intoxicating wine, as big as a human head from the Zuinun heavy water bottle. The two golden-winged birds almost went crazy on the spot. Fortunately, Chuyi was able to restrain himself. He knew that his master would give him some sooner or later, but he just unconsciously approached a ball of spirit wine. His wife didn't care about anything and directly dove into the ball of spirit wine. Fortunately, Lin Changqing had been preparing all the time, just to prevent her from losing control. Seeing that she had just shown some signs of this, he directly used the Zuinun heavy water bottle to take back all the spirit wine, and she regained some reason. Lin Changqing asked Chuyi to repeat what Lin Changqing had just said. This time it was different. His wife only hesitated for a moment and agreed. Lin Changqing also asked Chuyi to tell him that he had to sign the master-servant's contract first, and then the 100 flowers soul-intoxicating wine could be given to him. And after taking the spirit wine, it will fall into deep sleep, and after waking up, it will advance. At that time, it will be a spirit beast of the late first stage. That's right, Chuyi's wife is still in the middle of the first stage. After hearing it, it thought about it and nodded in agreement. Lin Changqing was overjoyed, but this was also within his expectations. He directly recited the spell of the master-servant's contract. Then he used the golden thread light needle to prick his finger, forced out a drop of blood containing his own spiritual energy, and dripped it on its forehead. It was soon absorbed into the sea of consciousness by Chuyi's wife. She could immediately sense its existence in her mind, and through the contract, she also felt the waves of eagerness from it. Knowing that it couldn't wait any longer, she didn't make it difficult. She directly sent the small ball of 100 flowers drunk in soul wine to its mouth. After it swallowed it, it soon fell into deep sleep. This time I finally got it, although the conventional means failed to tame it. But fortunately, in the end, through the big move of 100 flowers drunk in soul wine, the seduction was successful. Now it has become his bird, and Lin Changqing can touch it however he wants. Lin Changqing couldn't help but laugh triumphantly. The little guy still didn't run out of his palm. Now he should consider giving it a name. After thinking about it, he still felt that he should give it a name that was passed down from generation to generation. He felt that the name Chuer was a good one. In this way, Chuyi, Chuer, and calling each other are quite coherent, convenient and easy to remember. It was decided that Chuyi's wife would be called Chuer. After Chuer was taken care of, Chuyi was the only one left. It was now looking at Lin Changqing eagerly. This time Lin Changqing had a headache again. Chuyi had just advanced to the late stage of the first stage not long ago. At that time, he had been sleeping for more than 10 days because of insufficient foundation. At that time, Lin Changqing was still worried for a long time. Now Lin Changqing definitely wouldn't dare to give him the 100 flowers drunk in soul wine. At least it would take another year and a half to settle and accumulate. But it's not good to cross the river and destroy the bridge. He had just used Chuyi and contracted his wife. It's not reasonable to throw it aside now. It will dampen its enthusiasm. So it's better to compensate Chuyi with a centennial zoo fruit. Otherwise, it would not be able to comfort Chu Ai's lost heart. Lin Changqing also said goodbye to it through the contract. After a while, he would give it spiritual wine, and then it could be promoted to the second level. But at this stage, it still needs to accumulate some foundation. After all, it is still relatively rare for golden-winged birds to break through the second level. Lin Changqing does not want it to fail in the breakthrough. Then, he put Chui and Shuer into the spiritual beast bracelet, and then entered the inner space. He played with Liu Yaoqiang's family who came to welcome him for a while, and then fed each of them a spiritual pill, and let them play by themselves. Su Miniang and Zhao Liai were already standing by, welcoming their master. The two of them greeted in unison, "Little maid, meet the master." However, Lin Changqing did not like this, so he ordered, "If you have your own things to do in the future, just do your own things, and don't come to greet me. If there is anything, I will find you. You don't have to put down your work every time to greet me. I don't like this. You just need to do your own job well." Su Miniang and Zhao Liai looked at each other, but they didn't dare to go against Lin Changqing's wishes, so they quickly agreed. He waved his hand, indicating that the two could leave and let them do their own things. Lin Changqing walked into a room in the yard, took out 200-year-old red fruits, and cut them in half. Then he put away the two fruit cores and prepared to put them together with the previous fruit cores. Maybe they would be useful someday. Then he let Chui out and fed it a piece of fruit pulp. Now this piece of fruit pulp is not enough for Chui to advance to the second level. At most, it can absorb and digest most of it after a nap. Then he took Chui back into the spirit beast bracelet and let it sleep inside to digest it. Chapter 184 Returning to the sixth level of Key Refining. I just happened to see the black tiger cub in the spirit beast bracelet, and thought that it was not a good idea to keep it locked in the spirit beast bracelet all the time. I remembered that Zhao Liayu said that she knew a little about how to take care of spirit beasts, so why not just give the black tiger cub to her to take care of first? This way, I don't have to worry about forgetting it all the time. It's not my own spirit beast, so it's really easy for Lin Changqing to forget it, and he has a lot of things to do. So it's really possible that the black tiger cub will starve to death in a certain space of the spirit beast bracelet. With a thought, I sent a command to Zhao Liayu through the golden rune, asking her to come to the yard and find her if there is anything. Soon Zhao Liayu came to Lin Changqing. "Hello, master. Do you have something to ask me?" Lin Changqing nodded and said, "I have a black tiger cub here. I am going to go home in a while and give it to my sister as a gift. I am usually busy, so I plan to give it to you to take care of it for a while. Can you do it?" Zhao Liayu nodded quickly and said, "Sure, that's no problem at all. I can take care of a black tiger cub." Lin Changqing nodded. This was the best. He took out a black tiger cub from the spirit beast bracelet and handed it to Zhao Liayu. After thinking for a while, he took out some monster meat from the storage bag and handed it to Zhao Liayu. These were all food for the black tiger cub. Thinking that the black tiger cub was a creature without a contract after all, Lin Changqing was worried that it was out of control, so he couldn't help but order, "You have to take good care of it for me. Don't let this little guy ruin the spiritual medicine, spiritual herbs, and so on in the space." Zhao Liayu couldn't help but chuckle when she heard this, and said confidently, "Please rest assured, master, I will definitely take good care of this little guy and ensure that there will be no spiritual medicine." Lin Changqing nodded. It would be best if it could be like this, and he could also be more relieved. Zhao Liayu saw that the master had no other instructions, so after saying something to Lin Changqing, he took the black tiger cub away first and found a suitable place to put it. Since we have entered the inner space, let's just complete today's Thunder Sutra practice task here. Then he chose an unoccupied room, sat cross-legged and got into position, and began to practice the Thunder Sutra. The familiar feelings of soreness, numbness, swelling, and pain attacked Lin Changqing again. Soon 2 hours passed. Lin Changqing's physical energy was almost exhausted, and he was sweating all over. He walked out of the room and cleaned his body first. Then he called Su Miniang and asked her to help Lin Changqing with a free muscle massage. After enjoying Su Miniang's increasingly professional massage service, Lin Changqing walked out of the yard comfortably half an hour later. He began to patrol the inner space. After all, there were 2 more people in the space, which was equivalent to 2 more unstable factors. So Lin Changqing still had to come in more often to take a look and observe. Fortunately, after so many days, nothing was found wrong, which made Lin Changqing quite relieved. Since no problems were found, Lin Changqing exited the inner space. Back in the room, Lin Changqing prepared to take the remaining 3 pieces of Zhu fruit pulp himself. Just this 1.5 pieces were enough to break through to the 6th level of key refining. He played a spell to activate the gathering spirit formation, then sat cross-legged in the center of the formation, running the 5 elements Chaos Sutra, and after a few cycles, the spiritual energy in the danshan was fully restored. He took out the remaining 3 pieces of red fruit pulp, ate them all in 2 or 3 bites, and then began to practice the exercises. The fruit pulp turned into a huge amount of spiritual energy, rushing straight to danshan. Lin Changqing quickly guided the impact on the meridians, because he had done it once before. So it was relatively easy to break through, and he was unstoppable all the way until the last acupoint. After a slight pause, it was also broken through with a boom. The remaining spiritual energy also broke through a dozen acupoints on the next meridian. Because there was no spiritual vein where the Chen family was located, it was all dependent on the arranged spirit gathering array to provide spiritual energy, but it was still filled with low-grade spiritual stones. So Lin Changqing took out 2 medium-grade spiritual stones from the storage bag and held them in his hand to absorb and replenish spiritual energy after the body advanced. Then he concentrated on consolidating his cultivation until the next morning, when it was basically solid. After testing it, the control of spiritual energy at the 6th level of key refining was still the same, and it was handy and smooth. This is the benefit of a solid foundation. Moreover, the total amount of spiritual energy is 50% more than when he was at the 5th level of key refining, and the quality of spiritual energy is exactly 3 times that before he switched to cultivation. He has been sitting cross-legged for a night. Fortunately, the Thunder Sutra has the effect of refining the body, although he has not yet entered the door. However, after sitting cross-legged for a night, there is no phenomenon of blood circulation, but he still got up to move his body. He checked the spirit beast bracelet. Chuai, Chuer, and Chuer have all woken up, and Chuer has successfully advanced to the late stage of the 1st level. He released them all. Chuai was still the same. Chuer was still a little resistant to Lin Changqing's touch because he had just signed the contract. Although he still avoided it, he didn't fly away directly. Lin Changqing sighed in his heart. After all, he was lured by spirit wine, not tamed by himself. After all, it was still a little bit worse. He could only cultivate feelings slowly in the future. He checked Chuer's body. The size was about the same as Chuai, a little smaller. He spread his wings to compare, and it was only a little shorter than Chuai. After all, it was a female bird, and it was normal to be smaller. Except for a pair of golden wings, the fur color of Chuer, which is blue and gold, seems to be evenly distributed. Unlike Chuyi, now only the back has some blue, and the rest of the body is already golden, almost turning into a pure golden bird. This proves that Chuyi must have mutated. Maybe when Chuyi advances to the 2nd level, he will really turn into a pure golden bird. He took out a large piece of monster meat from the storage bag, cut it into long strips, and fed them. Especially Chuer, Lin Changqing deliberately fed a little more. After all, he just advanced and needed more nutrition. When it was about the same time, he fed each of them a spiritual nourishment pill, and then opened the magic circle and let them go out to play. After all, they were golden-winged birds, and flying freely was what they liked to do most. He took the fur ball out from the corner. There were 2 golden-winged birds in the room just now, and the fur ball hid in the corner. Maoki was not afraid of Chuai, but Chuer. It was probably because of the last incident that Maoki was deeply traumatized. After all, Chuer almost ate him as a snack. Maoki was given a nurturing spirit pill and told that Chuer had signed a master servant's contract with Lin Changqing and was Lin Changqing's spirit beast like it. He would not attack Maoki anymore, so Maoki did not need to be so afraid. Maoki was very happy and excited to hear what Lin Changqing conveyed through the contract. He immediately ran around the room, but he did not leave the room. Lin Changqing ignored him. He also minced some monster meat into small pieces and threw them into the spirit beast bracelet and some purple crystal scorpions, and everything was fine. Chen Ziya happened to come over and saw that Lin Changqing had advanced. He said with surprise, "Senior brother, you recovered to the 6th level of key refining so quickly." Lin Changqing chuckled, "Yes, after taking the 100 years red fruit, my cultivation has recovered a little. Otherwise, if I always walk around outside with a cultivation of the 5th level of key refining, people will think I'm a soft persimmon." Chen Ziyi laughed when she heard this, although she imagined the scene that Lin Changqing said. After a while, he held back his laughter and said, "Isn't this just right? Let them come to us on their own initiative. Maybe we can even make a small fortune." Lin Changqing was a little surprised that Chen Ziyi still had this idea. He couldn't help but joked, "Oh no, my junior sister has been led astray by me. She is getting more and more courageous and even has the idea of robbing cultivators." Chen Ziyi said proudly, "This courage was given to me by my senior brother. I have confidence in my senior brother. It's not a matter of 2 or 3 to deal with a few robbers, it's okay to play with this occasionally. If you do it too many times, you will definitely fail. If you walk by the river often, you will get your shoes wet." Lin Changqing shook his head. Chen Ziyi nodded. She understood this point. She was just joking just now and didn't really mean to let Lin Changqing take risks. Then she began to perform tea art for Lin Changqing. Every time at this time, Lin Changqing always appreciated it quietly, and it gradually became a tacit understanding between the two. Chapter 185, Flower Letter. Young lady. Time flies, and 3 days have passed in a blink of an eye. Last night, the 7th Thunder Acupoint was finally opened successfully. The talisman was first used as a top-grade Thunder Spirit Pearl. There is no other way. I will change it when there is a suitable one in the future. Lin Changqing planned to wait for a while. When Chen Ziyi came over, he would tell her about going to Qian Mansion. After a while, Chen Ziyi came. After she made tea, Lin Changqing went over and sat next to her. "Junior sister, are you going to Nan County tomorrow?" Lin Changqing brought up the topic first. Chen Ziyi chuckled and said, "Yes. Are you going with us? I want to borrow the swift boat from you this time." "Okay, I'll take you there on the swift boat. And there is another flying boat here, you can use it first." "How many people are going this time?" Lin Changqing quickly agreed. "That's great. If you want to go, then take everyone in the family with you. Since we have 2 flying boats, you can take my parents and my eldest brother, and I'll take my sister-in-law and 3 nephews and nieces." Chen Ziyi made arrangements with a smile on her face. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing knew that he couldn't mention going to Qian Mansion now. It was rare for her to be so happy, so he shouldn't spoil her fun at this critical moment. "Let's talk about it when we get to Nan County tomorrow. Anyway, we can't talk about it now. We can't do such boring and unpleasant things." Because it was confirmed that Lin Changqing would go with them tomorrow, Chen Ziyi left after a while, and took a flying boat from Lin Changqing. That was the spoils of the last battle. The flying boat of the 3 people from the Bai family involved Qi Zhanfei from the Qi family. Lin Changqing didn't plan to take it out. Safety was the most important thing. Chen Ziyi was going to tell her family the news, and she had to pack up everything first. Originally, she was going with her parents and her eldest brother. Her sister-in-law planned to stay at home to take care of her 3 nephews and nieces because they were too young. Now that Lin Changqing was there, they could all go together, so she was so happy. The next morning, after Lin Changqing finished his training, Chen Ziyi came, and then the 2 of them came to yard together. The Chen family, young and old, were all there. After everyone greeted each other, Lin Changqing released the swift wind boat and controlled it to land on the ground in the yard. After he got on the boat first, he invited Chen Ziyi's parents and eldest brother to get on. Then he activated the spiritual light shield that came with the boat. This spiritual light shield was mainly for wind protection and provided a little defense, but it was not too strong. In this way, the few people would not be blown by the wind and would be much more comfortable. Besides, with a spiritual light shield, they would feel more secure. Chen Ziyi also followed Lin Changqing's method, brought her sister-in-law and 3 nephews and nieces to the blade boat, and opened the spiritual light cover. Then the 2 flying boats slowly rose and slowly accelerated to fly towards Nan County. Because the passengers on the flying boat were all ordinary people, Lin Changqing did not fly too fast, and also let them experience the fun of flying and appreciate the beautiful scenery of the mountains and rivers below from a high altitude. Anyway, it was the first time to experience flying. And Chen Ziyi's parents and eldest brother were very excited. It took a while to stabilize their emotions and slowly experience this rare experience and appreciate the mountains and rivers below. At the beginning, Lin Changqing also said something to ease their emotions. Fortunately, they adapted to it soon. Last time, it took an hour to fly from Nan County to Tongshan village. This time, because it did not fly too fast, it took about an hour and a half to reach Nan County. A little bit away from the city gate of the county town, the flying boat was lowered, and then a team of soldiers on duty on the city wall saw it. A soldier like a captain immediately ran down quickly. Lin Changqing's spiritual sense scanned it, but ignored him. After putting away the flying boat, the 3 children were held by adults, and the group walked towards the city gate. Soon they arrived at the city gate, and the soldiers below bowed and saluted. "We are here to see the immortal master." Okay, get up quickly, don't attract too much attention." Lin Changqing was helpless. He was most annoyed at this time. Hearing Lin Changqing's impatient tone, those people also knew that they and others were not favored by the immortal master, so they immediately got up and stepped aside. Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya's family entered the city smoothly. Next, he didn't know how to go, and could only rely on Chen Ziya's eldest brother to lead the way. After walking for a while, there were obviously more people on the street. At this time, the street has become lively, with people coming and going. Lin Changqing and the other person walked behind. Chen Ziya pointed at the shops one by one and told Lin Changqing what was sold here and what was sold there. What was here and what was there before. It was obvious that this place brought back her childhood memories. Lin Changqing responded on the side. Fortunately, they passed through the bustling street market and soon entered an area that was obviously a residential area. There were bungalows with 1 or 2 rooms, tiled houses, and courtyards with 3 or 4 or even 5 or 6 entrances. The gap between the rich and the poor was still quite obvious. Everyone followed Chen Ziya's eldest brother and turned left and right to the door of a small courtyard with 2 entrances. Chen Ziya's eldest brother said to everyone, "Big sister's house, this is it." Then he started knocking on the door. Not long after, a light footsteps came from the yard. Of course, only Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya could hear it here. Soon the gate of the yard was opened, and a beautiful young woman in her 20s came out. "Big sister, Laner, daughter, sister," a series of different calls rang out. The young woman who opened the door was stunned for a second. She couldn't believe what she saw was real. Her eyes quickly turned red and her throat was a little choked, but she still shouted, "Dad, Mom," and then threw herself into her mother's arms. Fortunately, she reacted in a short while. And the other people in the family came out of their mother's arms and were very happy to see that everyone in the family had come. After wiping away her tears, she began to invite the family members to come in. She held her mother's hand with one hand and her little sister's hand with the other hand. Both sides were tightly held, fearing that if she let go, they would fly away and disappear. When the people came to the living room, there was another round of greetings, and various different calls rang out. Although Lin Changqing entered the yard, he did not enter the living room. He was outside the living room, admiring the flowers and plants placed there. As an outsider, it was not very convenient for him to go in now. It would be better to give the space to them first, and then go in when it was almost done. However, he missed this point. There was still someone who was always paying attention to Lin Changqing. After a while, Chen Ziya's father came to call Lin Changqing, so she had no choice but to go in. After entering the living room, Lin Changqing greeted the beautiful young woman and said, "Lin Changqing of the Lin family, meet sister Shi, Chen Zilin, meet brother Lin. Thank you for escorting me home, and for sending my family to Nan to reunite with me. I am so grateful to you," Chen Zilin thanked sincerely. "Sister Shi, you are too kind. This is what I should do. Sister Shi, you don't have to be polite. The friendship between our 2 families for hundreds of years is much closer than you think, so you really don't have to worry about these things," Lin Changqing also said sincerely. Chen Zilin was very happy to hear this and said with a smile, "Well, I won't be polite, but calling you brother Shi all the time is too awkward. I'd better call you brother Qing, it's more convenient. Then sister Shi should call me brother Jiu. I'm the 9th in the clan, so I'll call you sister Lan, it's more intimate." Chen Zilin was even happier to hear this and quickly agreed, Okay, this is the best. From today on, I have an extra brother who is a fairy master." After saying this, everyone laughed. Lin Changqing also chuckled and said, "Sister Lan, you also have a sister who is a fairy master." After saying this, everyone laughed even more happily. Chapter 186. 2 chapters. Everyone laughed and chatted for a while, and Chen Ziya's eldest brother suddenly remembered that something seemed to be missing. How come everyone had been here for so long, but his brother-in-law didn't come out to entertain the guests? He asked hurriedly, "Sister, why didn't your brother-in-law come out? Is he not at home?" After hearing this, Chen Zilin's expression darkened, and then she said, "He went to party with his classmates and friends. He has not come back since he left yesterday." The Chen family frowned after hearing this. Chen Ziya's eldest brother continued to ask, "Is it a real party or a fake party? Are they using the name of this party to drink and have fun?" Chen Zilin shook her head and sighed. "I don't know about this. I can't see what he does outside, let alone control it." "Did you say where he is?" "I'll go find him," Chen Ziya's eldest brother continued. Chen Zilin still shook her head and said, "He didn't say that. Forget it. Let's not talk about that. I'll bring the two children here and let them meet their grandparents, uncle." After that, she stood up and went to the back room. After a while, she brought out two children, 2 or 3 years old, one boy and one girl, dressed in pink and jade-like clothes, very cute. Chen Zilin taught them to call everyone present. Lin Changqing had already started to look for something suitable as a gift in the storage bag. Fortunately, he was lucky. Finally, in the storage bag where he put miscellaneous items, he found a box of jade pendants left by an unlucky guy. There were 12 jade pendants carved from first-level warm jade. This thing is not as precious as second-level warm jade, but it also has the effect of slowly improving physical fitness, but it is not as obvious as second-level warm jade. Of course, this is also a very rare treasure for ordinary people. He took out the whole box and gave a jade pendant to each of the 5 children on the scene. Then he finally breathed a sigh of relief. He was really unprepared for this. Fortunately, he had a lot of spoils and finally managed to deal with the situation. With more children in the living room, the whole place became noisy. Then Chen Ziya's sister-in-law took the initiative to take the 5 children to the yard to play, leaving the adults to talk and chat in the living room. Fortunately, not long after, Chen Zilin's husband came back from outside, and there was another round of excitement. Lin Changqing took the opportunity to call Chen Ziya out, and the two walked outside the living room. Lin Changqing spoke directly, "Junior sister, I want to take advantage of the fact that you are not in danger at home now. I will go to Qian Mansion first and explore the cave that Lu Zinai mentioned. Then we won't have to make a special trip." Chen Ziya frowned and looked at Lin Changqing and said, "Didn't we agree that we would go and take a look together then? We have nothing to do anyway. I'll do my thing first, and then we won't have to bother you. We can go back to Qingyuan City without any delay." Chen Ziya was still reluctant to let Lin Changqing leave. "Then what about the restrictions in the cave by yourself?" Lin Changqing said confidently, "We can only use the Zhengjun Divine Thunder to blast it, and it will definitely be able to open it." Seeing that he had said this, Chen Ziya had no choice but to agree with him, but she looked unhappy. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing quickly comforted her. "Junior sister, don't be like this. I will be back in about a month at most. Maybe I can bring you a gift or something. Don't be unhappy." Chen Ziya smiled at Lin Changqing, but her expression was still a little forced. Lin Changqing had a headache. He didn't expect that Chen Ziya, who was so smart, would be like this. So there was no other way. Lin Changqing simply used a big move and hugged her in his arms. Chen Ziya blushed immediately and felt a little shy and embarrassed. Seeing her so cute, Lin Changqing couldn't help it anymore. He didn't care about anything and kissed her red lips. Chen Ziya was not prepared at all. There was a boom in her mind, and her whole body softened. If it weren't for Lin Changqing holding her, she might have collapsed to the ground. It was unknown how long this kiss lasted, but Lin Changqing was intoxicated by it. It felt fragrant and sweet, and it was endless. After the kiss, he let go a little and took a breath. He saw that Chen Ziya's face was red, so tempting. He couldn't help but lower his head and kissed her again. This time, he even put his tongue into her mouth, chasing her small tongue and entangled with it. Chen Ziya opened her eyes wide. It was still possible to do this, but she was held tightly by Lin Changqing and couldn't run away. She could only passively accept it. Fortunately, she was smart and studious, and she applied what she learned very quickly. After a while, she understood and used her small tongue to fight with Lin Changqing. After the two fought for a quarter of an hour, they finally stopped. Chen Ziya's face was pressed against Lin Changqing's chest, breathing lightly. Lin Changqing was very proud in his heart, and couldn't help but continue to tease, "Junior sister, you have been stamped twice by me. This time you can't run away. From now on, you are mine." Chen Ziya was even more shy after hearing this. Her face was pressed tightly against his chest, and she just didn't lift it up. After a long time, she recovered. Looking at Lin Changqing's smirk, She couldn't help but glare at him. Seeing that Chen Ziya had recovered, Lin Changqing took out another spirit beast bag and placed it in her hand solemnly. He instructed, "There are 24 purple crystal scorpions in it. Keep them first. During the time I am not with you, they will temporarily replace me to protect your safety." Chen Ziya took the spirit beast bag in her hand and Lin Changqing stamped it twice. She was very reluctant to leave. Lin Changqing left. But she still opened her mouth and warned, "Brother, you must pay attention to safety and never take risks. I don't want any gifts, just come back early, understand?" Lin Changqing nodded. He understood Chen Ziya's intentions, but he had to go. He didn't know how the Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra was, but he had to get the Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra. This technique is really in line with the Zuinun Heavy Water Bottle. It can be said that it is specially designed for the Heavy Water Bottle. "Don't worry, junior sister. I won't take risks by myself. If there's any danger, just let the amethyst scorpion go. I guarantee that we'll come back safely." Chen Ziya heard this and knew that Lin Changqing had made up his mind. She could only force herself to control her emotions and said to Lin Changqing, "Brother, it's best if it's like this. Just come back early." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "I'll listen to you, junior sister. I won't go in to say goodbye. You can tell them for me." Chen Ziya nodded in agreement. Then Lin Changqing hugged her again and turned around and left. It was not convenient to fly directly in the county town. That would be too ostentatious. It would easily cause a sensation. Lin Changqing felt that there was no need to do that, and he didn't like being watched by people. A few hundred meters out of the county gate, Lin Changqing controlled the flying boat and flew towards Jianzhou Prefecture. Last time, he and Chen Ziya found 2 hidden places to rest and spend the night. This time, Lin Changqing chose the same 2 places as last time. After arriving at the place, the small 5-element maze array was set up, and all the purple crystal scorpions were released, forming a 3-layer defense warning. Then, Chui and Chur were summoned down from the sky, and each was fed some monster meat and a nurturing pill, so that the couple could have a good rest and continue tomorrow. They flew for 3 days, and the operation was the same. Fortunately, it was quite smooth along the way, and there were no blind robbers who came to deliver goods to the door. On the evening of the 3rd day, they finally arrived at Jianzhou Market. A few hundred meters away from the entrance of the market, Chui and Chur were summoned back to the spirit beast bag, and the entry and exit certificate that was previously issued was found in the storage bag. After entering the market smoothly, they did not look for a hotel immediately, but found a Wanbao pavilion for consultation. It was confirmed that the next passenger ship to Qian Mansion would arrive tomorrow, but it must stay for 2 days as usual, so it would take a total of 3 days before departure. 3 days was barely acceptable to Lin Changqing, so he immediately booked a U-character guest room on the ship, paid 150 spirit stones, and got a boarding certificate. Chapter 187. This is impossible. There are still 3 days before boarding the ship. Fortunately there is still plenty of time, but now the problem of accommodation must be solved first. Because there is no need to rush, Lin Changqing walks leisurely and walks towards the hotel where he and Chen Ziya stayed last time. With the entry and exit certificate of the market, he opened a single room in the hotel. Because he did not bring Chen Ziya with him this time, he did not need to open a suite, and saved some spiritual stones. After the hotel clerk who led the way left, Lin Changqing went in to see the environment inside. After feeling that it was acceptable, he activated the ban on the door and then left the hotel. Lin Changqing was going to walk around the street and find a place to eat a spiritual meal. After walking 2 streets, he finally saw a spiritual food shop. It was steaming hot, and there were quite a lot of monks inside. As soon as he stepped into the spiritual food shop, the clerk came up to him and asked Lin Changqing to help find a quieter place. The clerk understood and led Lin Changqing to a table at the back, which happened to be blocked by a screen in front. This is a relatively private location. Lin Changqing nodded to the waiter, indicating that he was satisfied with this location. Then he started to order dishes. The first one was the 8 Treasures chicken soup. Lin Changqing's favorite. He hadn't had it for a long time and still missed it. Whenever he drank the soup, he would think of his mother. Unconsciously, he had been out for a long time and didn't know how they were doing at home. The second dish was the red armor tenderloin beef, and the third dish was the dense juice bearpaw, plus a bowl of spiritual rice. He refused the spiritual wine recommended by the waiter. When he was out, he would not drink it no matter how good the spiritual wine was. There were so many examples of drinking that caused trouble throughout the ages, so I won't talk about it. The most important thing was that he might even lose his life, so he simply refused. 2 dishes and 1 soup were enough. After all, Lin Changqing was alone. If he ordered too much and couldn't finish it, it would be a waste. Moreover, this spiritual meal would cost about 35 spiritual stones, which was not cheap. The spiritual food shop was still quite lively during this time period. There were really many monks. If you knew them, you could listen to them talk. Maybe we can collect some useful information. Unfortunately, Lin Changqing was not too interested in these. After finishing the spiritual meal slowly and paying the spiritual stone, Lin Changqing returned to the hotel room along the original route. As usual, he began to use his spiritual sense to carefully check the room. After searching twice, he found no problems. Fortunately, he also arranged the small 5-element maze array, which made him feel more at ease. First, he released Shui and Shuer, fed them some monster meat and soul-erasing pills, and then put them in the space as big as the spirit beast bracelet, so that they would be more comfortable. After settling Shui and the others, Lin Changqing brewed green jade tea. He had not drunk it for several days on the road, and he still missed it. In addition, he had just eaten a big meal, which was all beef and bear paws. It was just right to drink some green jade tea to relieve the greasiness. To be honest, Lin Changqing's tea art is really average. He is used to drinking the spiritual tea brewed by Chen Ziya, and then he drinks the one he brews himself. There is really no comparison. It can only be barely considered drinkable. That kind of lively and natural tea rhyme is definitely gone. After a few cups of spiritual tea, I finally felt better. After flying for 3 days, I was indeed a little tired. But I can't rest now. After drinking the spiritual tea, I still have to practice the Thunder Sutra. After completing the practice task, I can rest at ease. To practice this thing, you must persevere to gain something. Not long after, a pot of spiritual tea was finished. Lin Changqing cleaned up, then sat cross-legged and started to practice the Thunder Sutra. After 2 hours, I finally used up all my energy. My whole body was like being fished out of the water. I went outside to clean my body, and then came back to lie down and rest. The next morning, after Lin Changqing completed the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra, he spent some time feeding all the spirit beasts in the spirit beast bracelet. Then he activated the bell on the door and left the hotel. The last time I came with Chen Ziya, I was too hasty. Moreover, Chen Ziya was eager to go home at that time, so she didn't even have a good look around here. Of course, I didn't go to Lin Changqing's favorite street stalls and gambling stone shops. This time, I just had time to make up for the regret of the last time. When I was looking for the spiritual food shop yesterday, I saw the gambling stone shop there, and it was relatively close to here. Let's go there first today. Because it was still early, I was afraid that the shop was not open yet, so Lin Changqing strolled around slowly. Mainly, I was paying attention to see if there were any grocery stores or the like. Lin Changqing wanted to buy some furniture and spiritual rice seeds to prepare to put them in the inner space. Fortunately, I saw a newly opened grocery store. The owner was a middle-aged monk, and I didn't see any shop assistants. As soon as Lin Changqing entered the store, the boss saw him. He was very happy to have business so early in the morning, and hurriedly greeted him. "What would you like to order, sir, boss? Do you sell furniture here? Common ones are fine. If you have spiritual seeds of spiritual rice, give me some, enough to plant 10 acres of land." "Yes, we have everything. The furniture is beds, tables, chairs, cabinets, etc., which cost 5 spirit stones per set. We also have spiritual seeds of spiritual rice. The first level low-quality white jade spiritual rice and yellow jade spiritual rice are all packaged with just enough spiritual seeds for 1 acre of land, and each package costs 2 spirit stones. The first level medium quality ones are silver tooth spiritual rice and blood tooth spiritual rice, among which silver tooth spiritual seeds cost 8 spirit stones per package. Each package of blood tooth spiritual seeds costs 20 spirit stones. This kind of spiritual rice has some effect of replenishing ki and blood, and it requires at least 1 medium-sized monster per acre every year. Only with irrigation and nourishment of blood throughout the body can the blood tooth rice with the effect of nourishing ki and blood be produced normally. Lin Changqing nodded. He had heard of the name of blood teeth early in the morning, but no one in the Lin family planted it. After thinking for a while, he said to the boss, Give me 5 sets of furniture, 5 packs of first-grade white jade and yellow jade spirit seeds, 2 packs of first-grade middle-grade silver teeth, 1 pack of blood teeth, and 2 sets of various planting tools. The boss was overjoyed and said quickly, "Okay, we have everything. Please wait a moment, I'll go to the warehouse behind to get it." After that, he ran to the back. After a while, he came back and started to put things in the storage bag. First, the furniture, which took up the most space. Fortunately, the bed can be disassembled and assembled, which is much more convenient. Next, there are various spirit seeds of spirit rice. Lin Changqing opened each package and checked it to confirm that each package of spirit seeds had full grains and could be guaranteed to sprout normally. Only then did he feel relieved. Next, there was no need to look at the planting tools. They were all 10 spirit stones per set. In the end, it was exactly 101 spirit stones. The boss said that it would be enough to pay 100 spirit stones. Lin Changqing nodded, paid the spirit stones, put the things into the storage bag, and prepared to say goodbye and leave. Unexpectedly, the boss said again, "Customer, do you want a seedling of the first-grade lower-grade spiritual peach? There are exactly 2 of them. 20 spiritual stones will do for each one." Lin Changqing's heart moved. Although there were already quite a few spiritual plants planted in the space, it seemed that there was really a lack of those common spiritual fruit trees. It was just right to solve them all at once. "Yes, do you have other seedlings? Take them all out and let's take a look." The boss nodded and took out 6 small seedlings from a spiritual plant bag. In addition to the spiritual peach tree he just mentioned, there were also seedlings of spiritual apricot trees and spiritual jujube trees. There were exactly 2 of each. Lin Changqing bought them all and paid the boss another 120 spiritual stones. Then after receiving the 6 seedlings, he said goodbye and left. Now Lin Changqing was in a good mood and completed another task. He would send these things to the space in the evening. He had spent a lot of time in the grocery store. The gambling stone shop should have opened by now. Lin Changqing couldn't help but speed up his pace and soon arrived at his destination. Just at the door, before stepping into the gate, Lin Changqing was shocked. If he didn't have rich experience in picking up bargains, he would have almost shouted out, "This is impossible." Chapter 188, Treasure of the Store. Lin Changqing quickly restrained his expression. He believed that the shop assistant must have seen his expression just now. However, seeing that he looked like he was used to it, could there be something else going on? After he officially stepped into the door of the gambling stone shop, the shop assistant immediately came to greet him. This time, Lin Changqing did not refuse the shop assistant's service introduction. In the end, he could not hold back his curiosity and pointed directly at the huge piece of rough stone parked in the store, facing the door. He asked the shop assistant, "What's going on?" The shop assistant laughed and introduced, "The customer must have just come towards Yinzhou market and saw such a large raw stone for the first time, so he was so surprised. This is the treasure of our store. It has been here for more than 10 years. Almost all the cultivators in the entire Yinzhou market know it. Of course, this is also the largest piece of raw stone I have ever seen." The boss weighed it before and it was about more than 5,000 kilograms. So the boss specially marked the price of this raw stone at 50,000 low-grade spirit stones. To be honest, this price is equivalent to a foundation building pill. Who would buy a piece of raw stone at the price of 50,000 spirit stones, unless they are crazy? Lin Changqing nodded, yes. He was really going crazy. A super large piece of top-grade raw stone, a huge bright red halo. Just now at the door, his little heart was almost broken. Lin Changqing couldn't imagine how big the internal space would be if this huge piece of top-grade raw stone was absorbed and digested by Lin Changliu. Now Lin Changqing didn't know how to calculate it. But from now on, we have to keep calm. Now is not the time to buy this super large rough stone. Even the guys in the gambling stone shop think that 50,000 spiritual stones are too expensive. No one will be willing to buy it, unless they are crazy, so they must be prepared before coming 50,000 low-grade spiritual stones, at this time, as long as Lin Changqing dares to take it out and buy this rough stone. Then soon, the news will spread like wildfire, and then people with intentions from all walks of life will come one after another. And Lin Changqing needs to stay here for 2 more days until he boards the passenger ship of Wanbao Pavilion before the morning of the day after tomorrow. Therefore, the most suitable time to buy this super large rough stone should be to change his appearance and identity, and quickly buy it in the evening of tomorrow when the gambling stone shop is about to close, and then leave the market directly. Get to the passenger ship landing field outside the city in advance, hide there, wait until dawn, and then board Brother Wanbao's passenger ship to leave. After sorting out his thoughts, he temporarily put the big guy aside and began to look at the rough stones in the store. This gambling stone shop covers a large area, so there are a lot of raw stones. Lin Changqing glanced over and found 22 halos of different brightness, of which only 3 were bright. Because there was a shop assistant following him, Lin Changqing did not take the 3 top-grade raw stones directly. Instead, he looked left and right, studied and compared them carefully, and spent more than an hour to do enough surface work before finally selecting the 3 top-grade raw stones. According to past experience, these 3 top-grade raw stones should be able to produce about 200 top-grade spirit stones. But now Lin Changqing has become accustomed to it, especially after seeing the super-large top-grade raw stone. These 3 little guys are not worth mentioning. It can be said that there is no feeling at all. There is no longer the great joy of picking up 2 million low-grade spirit stones. Let the shop assistant find the boss to settle the bill. The 3 raw stones cost Lin Changqing a total of 980 spirit stones. After paying the spiritual stone, he rejected the boss's suggestion to help him cut the stone, put the 3 raw stones into the storage bag, and said goodbye and left. Now Lin Changqing was no longer in the mood to go shopping in the street stalls square. He originally wanted to return to the hotel by the same route, but considering that he had just come out of the gambling stone shop, he was just in case. He also deliberately walked around the streets and alleys in the market for a few times, and after confirming with his spiritual sense that there was no tail following him, he returned to the hotel where he was staying. Sitting in the room, the aroma of green jade tea was floating in the air. Lin Changqing wanted to use the refreshing effect of green jade tea to calm himself down completely. Think carefully, is there any other place that can be improved in this plan, and the danger must be minimized as much as possible. Lin Changqing sat in the room for 2 hours, and even delayed the practice of magic and supernatural powers that was originally planned. He carefully considered all the steps in the whole plan several times, and also designed 2 insurances to ensure that there would be no mistakes and no accidents. When Lin Changqing came to his senses, the sun was shining outside, and it was already noon. Since the plan has been made, we just need to wait until tomorrow evening to officially implement it. Thinking of the things I bought just now, I decided to send them to the inner space first for Su Miniang and the others to use. After checking the room twice and confirming that there was no problem, I activated the small 5-element maze array and entered the inner space. I was worried, so I just fed Lu Yaoqiang and the others a soul-erasing pill each, and let them play by themselves. When I summoned Su Miniang and Zhao Liao and saw them, Lin Changqing suddenly had an idea. That's right. I have subordinates, why should I take risks myself? I can just let my subordinates go. Aren't subordinates there to be used? If I do everything myself, what do I need subordinates for? Do I want them to waste pills and spiritual rice? Anyway, if someone dares to betray, just kill them directly, at most they will lose some spiritual stones. And that big raw stone will definitely be bought by a female cultivator in her 20s or early 30s who is at the 9th level of key refining. What's the point of having to do with Lin Changqing, a young cultivator at the 6th level of key refining? Isn't this the way to minimize the risk? Then the plan for the day would be scrapped, and many details of the new plan would have to be reconsidered. But it doesn't matter. Let's deal with the things in the space first, and then tell Su Miniang and the others. From the storage bag, I took out all the things I bought at the grocery store in the morning, and handed them over to them, including 5 sets of furniture, various spirit seeds, and 2 sets of tools. Lin Changqing specifically talked about the characteristics of the blood-tooth spirit rice, and told Zhao Liao to arrange a separate place to plant it. When the spirit beast blood is needed, tell him again, and believe that they will arrange the rest themselves. As for the seedlings of the 6 spirit fruit trees, Lin Changqing found a suitable place and planted them. Then he performed the spirit rain technique and the peon-inducing birth technique, and the rest was left to Zhao Liao and Lu Yaoqiang to take care of. After Su Miniang and Zhao Liao had finished the furniture and other things, they called the 2 over. After organizing his words for a while, he said, I have a task here now, and I need one of you to help complete it. Of course, this task will definitely be dangerous. But the person who completes it will be treated better, and can enjoy 100 flowers intoxicating wine, or practice here to the great perfection of the foundation building period. As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, Zhao Linyu shouted, "Master, I want to go." Su Miniang's voice also rang out, "I am willing to go." Lin Changqing glanced at them, nodded, chuckled and said, "I haven't told you what the task is yet, and you are rushing to go, and you are not afraid of losing your life." Su Miniang and Zhao Linyu looked at each other without saying a word. Obviously, both of them wanted to earn this treatment. This is very good, and Lin Changqing is very pleased. He started to explain, "Actually, this task is very simple. Just go to the gambling stone shop tomorrow evening and buy their treasure, a super large rough stone, and hand it over to me smoothly. Their boss has already set the price for that rough stone, 50,000 low-grade spirit stones. When the time comes, after paying the spirit stones as quickly as possible, take the rough stone away." Hearing this, Zhao Linyu's heart moved and she asked, "Master, are we in Jianzhou Market?" Lin Changqing nodded and said, "Yes, we are in Jianzhou Market now." Zhao Linyu said again, "Master, I have stayed in this place for a while and am familiar with it. Let me go. I will definitely get rid of the tail behind me and ensure that no one will follow me." Lin Changqing thought about it and nodded in agreement. Then he found several first-grade high-grade magic tools in the storage bag, including 2 flying sword magic tools, a shield magic tool, and some spirit talismans. He handed them all to Zhao Linyu and asked her to make sacrifices first in case of any unexpected incidents. Chapter 189, Backstage. Lin Changqing suddenly remembered that there must be cultivators from the Nan and Liu families who stayed in Jianzhou Market. They wanted to track down the whereabouts of Zhao Linyu and her gang of robbers, but they didn't want them to recognize them. Otherwise, if they were recognized, there would be complications, and things would become more and more troublesome. So he said to Zhao Linyu, "You should fix your makeup. It's best to be completely different from before. The cultivators from the Nan and Liu families should still be tracking your whereabouts." Zhao Linyu laughed when she heard it, and said confidently, "Master, don't worry, women can more or less disguise and dress up. If you didn't tell me, I might not have noticed it, but now that I know, I promise that even if I pass by them, they won't recognize me." After saying that, she entered the yard. After a while, a completely different middle-aged female cultivator came out. She was very different from Zhao Linyu who had just entered. At least if a stranger saw her, he couldn't associate her with Zhao Linyu at the first time. Lin Changqing nodded, which was considered as his approval of her makeup. Not only her image had changed, but her age had also changed. This was good and could avoid a lot of trouble. So he said to Su Miniang, "Let Zhao Linyu go this time. I'll arrange for you to go when there's a chance in the future. You go first. I have something to tell Zhao Linyu." After hearing what Lin Changqing said, Su Miniang was a little disappointed, but she had to accept it. "Yes, Master, then I'll go pick some green jade tea first." "Master, wait a minute and you can take it away." Lin Changqing nodded, knowing that she was telling him that she had left here and was going to the green jade tea tree, so he could talk with confidence. He took Zhao Linyu into a room in the yard and looked at her seriously. Then he said, "You have been here for a while, you should have a rough guess of what this place is, right?" Zhao Linyu nodded and said, "I do have some guesses in my mind, but I can only guess that we are now in an independent small space." Lin Changqing continued, "This time you need to leave this space and go outside to perform the task. But I have to remind you first, once you have the idea of revealing the existence of this space to anyone, you will immediately die. I believe that the rune in your sea of consciousness should make you have this understanding. So never test a law. At least here, you can practice with peace of mind, and I will not force you to do anything, and there is still a chance to advance to the foundation building stage or the purple mansion stage. Although you have lost your freedom, I think it is at least much better than being a casual cultivator before. And I promise you that as long as you complete the task, the conditions I promised will be fulfilled. Of course, you can only choose one of the two." After listening to Lin Changqing's words, Zhao Linyu said seriously, "Master, since I came here, I have never thought of betraying you. I will not reveal the existence of this space to others. It is very good here. I like it very much and want to practice and live here forever." Lin Changqing has been feeling her emotional changes through the golden runes in the sea of consciousness, and knows that she is not lying to herself. In addition, Lin Changqing is quite relieved by what she said just now. Nodding and chuckled, "Very good. But if you want to practice and live here forever, you must complete this mission first." Zhao Linyu nodded firmly, determined to complete this mission. She really thinks this place is very good. Although she has lost her freedom, after several contacts. The owner seems to be a good person. At least he allows her to practice and even provides resources for her to build a foundation, so she has never thought about betraying Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing continued, "You should hurry up and refine a few magic tools first. Then I will release you outside the market. You can make up an identity and go to the market gate to get a pass. Find a hotel to stay in, and wait until tomorrow afternoon, almost evening. Go to the gambling stone shop and buy their treasure of 50,000 spirit stones. After shaking off the possible tail, fly to the passenger ship landing field, and you will naturally receive my next instructions on the way." "That's about it. Do you understand what I said?" Zhao Liyu nodded and said, "I understand. Get a pass, find a place to stay, wait until tomorrow evening, buy the raw stone marked at 50,000 by the gambling stone shop, shake off the tail, fly out of the market to the landing field, and wait for the master's next instructions." Lin Changqing nodded, quite satisfied. Seeing her so capable, there should be no problem. "Very good, you go and refine the magic tool first, and come to me after you are done." Zhao Liyu agreed, and then left to refine the magic tool. Lin Changqing also prepared and found 2 empty storage bags. One empty large storage bag was filled with 50,000 low-grade spiritual stones. Needless to say, this was the spiritual stone used to buy the super large raw stone. Another small storage bag was filled with 500 low-grade spiritual stones. This was for Zhao Liyu to stay in a hotel or other expenses. It would not be recycled after the task was completed. It was just a small benefit for her. Zhao Liyu's ritual refining tools should not be that fast, so Lin Changqing walked out of the yard and began to patrol around in the space. In fact, there are many spiritual medicines and herbs in the space, which are already mature, but they have not been picked up, just to keep them fresh. But this is not a solution. Mature spiritual medicines always have a limit. If they are not collected after a certain period of time, they will rot automatically. So this requires a special person to come and manage these spiritual medicines, and it would be better to find a special alchemist to make use of all these spiritual medicines. But now, the most suitable person is his own sister Lin Changqing, because she has a fire spiritual root. But now she is the treasure in the eyes of the clan leader and the hope of the whole clan. Maybe in order to let her concentrate on her cultivation, she may not be allowed to learn alchemy. So we still have to pay attention to the right person, like Su Miniang or Zhao Liyu, and bring them into the space. This can ensure that the spiritual medicine in the space is used reasonably, and it can also ensure that there is a steady supply of elixirs for Lin Changqing or his family to use. But such a person is not so easy to find, so from now on, we have to pay attention everywhere. Of course, Lin Changqing will not bring people into the space for no reason. He must be looking for GXIU or other people who deserve the punishment. Only then will Lin Changqing bring them into the space to atone for their sins and make use of waste. Of course, if you voluntarily follow Lin Changqing, that's another matter. At this time, Su Miniang also came back after picking tea, and went to the yard, specially put the tea leaves in 3 jade boxes and handed them to Lin Changqing. After waiting for a while, Zhao Liyu also came out with the ritual tools and told Lin Changqing that she was ready. Lin Changqing nodded, put her into the spirit beast bracelet, and exited the inner space. Just now, I was delayed in the inner space for another hour or 2. I had to act quickly, otherwise it would be dark soon. I activated the ban on the door and then left the hotel. I walked outside the market and arrived at the woods about 10 miles outside the market. After confirming that the surroundings were safe, I released Zhao Liyu from the spirit beast bracelet. Zhao Liyu was still a little uncomfortable with this sudden change of environment, but she quickly realized that this should be outside the Jianzhou market. Lin Changqing gave her some time to adapt, and when he saw that she was almost there, he asked, "How are you now? Are you used to it?" Zhao Liyu nodded and said, "Master, please rest assured. It's just that the space suddenly changed, and I'm a little uncomfortable, but it's fine now." Lin Changqing nodded and told her the approximate location of the current location so that she would have an idea. Then he handed the 2 storage bags prepared in the space to Zhao Liyu, gave her a few instructions, and let her start to act. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190: A Nest of Stone Eggs. After Zhao Liyu left, Lin Changqing set out to return to Jianzhou Market almost half an hour later. When he returned to the hotel smoothly, it was already evening and the sky had obviously darkened. Sitting in the room, he went through the plan from beginning to end again, and only after confirming that there was no major omission did he feel relieved. He restrained his emotions and calmed down for a while, and then spent about an hour and a half to complete the task of practicing magic today. After a proper rest, he began to practice the Thunder Sutra again until all the energy in his body was exhausted. He went outside to clean up his body and came back to lie down to rest. The next morning, Lin Changqing completed the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra. Originally, today was the most important day in the entire plan. He should stay in the room and reduce activities outside, which would reduce some possible troubles. But considering that the street stall square here has not been visited 2 or 3 times, he decided to go for a walk this morning to see if there would be any special discoveries. So after Lin Changqing completed the practice, he rested for a while, and when the time was about right, he activated the bell on the door and left the hotel and walked towards the street stall square. When passing by the gambling stone shop, he couldn't help but meow. Seeing the super large raw stone still there, Lin Changqing felt relieved. Without stopping, he soon arrived at the street stall square. The time was just right. It was the busiest time in the square. There were many people setting up stalls and visiting the street stalls. After a rough glance, there were about 600 or 700 stalls. To be honest, Lin Changqing liked this kind of bustle the most. Many of his gains were found on the street stalls. Of course, this is thanks to the innate merit true eye, but he hasn't visited the street stalls for a long time. Seeing this situation today, it seems like his bloodline has awakened. He feels a little excited and begins to look forward to it. He walked in directly and started to browse. Today's luck looks very good. Just after visiting a few street stalls, he saw a few demon-luring grasses. Lin Changqing valued this kind of spiritual grass the most. After all, he raised a lot of spiritual beasts and spiritual insects. If they arrive in the future and feed their offspring, the demand for this demon-luring grass will definitely be huge. So every time he saw it, as long as the price was not too outrageous, he would buy it. There were a total of 5 demon-luring grasses on the stall this time, one of which was relatively old, estimated to be 7 or 8 years old. The rest were seedlings of 1 or 2 years old. Lin Changqing spent a total of 30 spirit stones to buy them all. With a harvest, he was even more excited. In fact, when visiting the street stall square, the most common things you encounter are various spiritual herbs, spiritual medicines, and materials from demon beasts. However, Lin Changqing only looks for those spiritual medicines and spiritual herbs that can be planted again, so this is the most harvested thing along the way. Now I have visited about half of the stalls and collected 30 or 40 spiritual medicines, but I haven't gained anything else. After strolling for a while, Lin Changqing finally saw what he had been looking forward to. A bright golden halo appeared on a stall. Lin Changqing suppressed his excitement and observed the whole stall. This was a stall that mainly sold materials for monsters. There were tendons, bones, and skins of monsters on the stall. There were also several spiritual medicines that had been picked for a while and were obviously a little withered. However, these were not Lin Changqing's target. The one that emitted the halo was a stone nest that was slightly larger than the palm of his hand, and there were 6 stone eggs in it. "Boss, can I pick this up and take a look?" Lin Changqing asked. The boss glanced at him and greeted him enthusiastically. "Sure, it's okay to pick it up and take a look, just don't break it." Lin Changqing nodded, then took the stone nest from the stall and observed it carefully. It seemed that some monster had used this stone nest as a nest and laid eggs in it a long time ago. But for some reason, it didn't hatch, and after an unknown amount of time, it has now become 6 stone eggs, and it has also merged with a stone nest. It is still unknown whether the treasure is this stone nest or these 6 stone eggs. But since the Xianshan Merit True Eye has given a hint, then we must take it down, no matter what it is, just buy it back first. He glanced at the boss and asked him directly, "Boss, what are these stone eggs of yours?" The boss also glanced at Lin Changqing, and said helplessly, "To be honest, I don't know either. This was found by a spirit-seeking rat I raised. I didn't know how to deal with it at the time, so I could only cut the stone nest directly from the rock wall, and it looks like this." Lin Changqing was a little dazed. Even the boss didn't know what it was, so he could only make up nonsense. So he said, "This looks a bit like a spirit beast egg that has naturally petrified over time. But at first glance, it is really attractive. It makes people curious and want to pick it up and play with it." The boss nodded and said, "It does feel like what you said. Many people can't help but be curious and want to study it. I have studied it for a long time, but I still don't know what it is. It is said to be a spirit beast egg, but it cannot be contracted. It is said to be a spiritual object, but it only has the first level spiritual pressure. I think it should be considered a strange object. I just haven't found its function yet." Lin Changqing felt that the boss might have guessed right, so he decided to buy it early so that he could feel at ease. So he continued to ask, "How do you sell this thing? I think this thing is most suitable for giving as a gift. Whether it is a strange object or not, at least the person receiving the gift will definitely remember you." The boss laughed after listening to Lin Changqing's words. He felt that what he said did make sense. He was indeed going to sell this thing, and he couldn't study anything anyway. However, he planned to offer a relatively high price to test the situation. If he really met a counterparty, he could make a fortune. So he said, "If you are interested in buying this rare item, I will give you 2,000 low-grade spirit stones." When Lin Changqing heard this, he opened his eyes wide and said in surprise, "A toy whose function I don't know costs 2,000 spirit stones? Then I might as well buy a top-grade magic weapon as a gift. It can also have such an effect, and it doesn't cost so many spirit stones. If you really want to sell it, tell me the selling price. If it's suitable, I will buy it. If it's not suitable, forget it." The boss thought for a while and said, "How many spirit stones do you want to offer? The top-grade magic weapon you mentioned is not as attractive as this rare item." Lin Changqing thought about it. If he offered too little, the boss would definitely not talk about it. If he offered too much, he was afraid of attracting attention. So after consideration, he decided to offer 500 spirit stones. He said to the boss, "I'm planning to buy it as a gift for someone. If the price is too high, I can't afford it. 500 spirit stones, how about that? It's okay if it's okay, but forget it if it's not." The boss shook his head and said, 500 is too little. How about 1,000 spirit stones? Who knows, you might really discover the wonderful uses of this strange thing in the future." Lin Changqing also shook his head, put the stone nest back on the stall, stood up, and said to the boss, "I was just a little curious and thought this thing was suitable as a gift. But 1,000 spirit stones is really too high. I can't afford it. I'll have a look somewhere else." After Lin Changqing finished speaking, he left and was about to go to the next stall to have a look. The boss quickly got up and grabbed Lin Changqing, saying, "Add another 100 spirit stones, and I'll sell it to you for 600. Lin Changqing still shook his head and said, "Forget it. Now that I think about it, it's a bit too outrageous to spend 500 spirit stones to buy a stone nest. Forget it, forget it, I don't want this thing anymore." When the boss heard that Lin Changqing regretted it, he was very anxious. He picked up the stone nest on the stall and stuffed it into Lin Changqing's hand, saying, 500 spirit stones, I'll sell it to you." That's it. Lin Changqing had been acting like a drama queen for a while, pretending to stuff the things back to the boss, and said, "Boss, I'm sorry that I didn't think clearly just now. I don't want this stone nest. It's too expensive." When the boss heard it, he glared at Lin Changqing angrily and shouted, "You offered 500 spirit stones just now, and now I agree to sell it to you. Even if you find the garrison, I'm right. Don't be long-winded, pay the spirit stones quickly." Seeing the boss yelling like this, Lin Changqing had no choice but to pay 500 spirit stones with pain. Then he looked as if he had been wronged, and he left the stall angrily without shopping. Chapter 191, Two Things to Win. The stall owner saw him leaving angrily, thinking that he had gotten a great bargain and was very happy. He was even happier than earning 1,000 spirit stones, and felt like he had won a great victory. Little did he know that he had already forced the treasure on others, and he was still complacent. As for Lin Changqing, he was now on his way back to the hotel. Although he seemed angry, he was actually very happy in his heart. Although he didn't know what the function of this thing was yet, it was a great value to buy a halo item marked by the innate merit true I with 500 low-grade spirit stones. And he believed that the innate merit true I would not be aimless. This thing must be extraordinary, but he just hadn't found the correct way to use it. Now he was a little impressed with his acting skills. Not only did he pick up a bargain, But he also made both the buyer and the seller feel that they had gotten a bargain and maintained a happy mood. This also prevented the boss from suddenly worrying about gains and losses, feeling that he was being picked up by others, and suddenly regretting. The play just performed not only comforted the mood of the stall owner, but also successfully picked up a bargain, which can be regarded as killing two birds with one stone. He is indeed the most professional bargain picker. He picked up bargains without knowing it. It is really high. And the highest level of picking up bargains is to make the boss cry and shout to give you the treasure. This is called making a fortune in silence. Lin Changqing was intoxicated and conceited all the way. Fortunately, although he picked up a bargain, he still did not relax his vigilance. He kept scanning with his spiritual sense along the way. He also deliberately circled the streets and alleys for several times. After confirming that it was safe, he returned to the hotel. Sitting in the room, he took out the stone nest that the boss forced him and studied it. This thing is only slightly larger than an open palm. The base is large and the top is small. The shape is like a volcano that has been reduced countless times, but the top volcano crater is a little bigger. The 6 oval stone eggs about 1.5 inches in size inside seem to have been completely petrified and completely integrated with the stone nest. He tried to reach into the stone nest to see if he could take out a stone egg. He tried several times but failed. The stone egg was still firmly connected to the stone nest. He tried to input spiritual energy into the stone nest again, but it was like a bottomless pit. Half an hour later, Lin Changqing had input all the spiritual energy in his body into it, but he didn't get any feedback. After trying once, he didn't dare to try again. After all, he had things to do later, and he couldn't waste time here. This is a bit like when Babe was born, but Babe at least had some reaction, but this one had no reaction at all, and swallowed all the spiritual energy input. There is no way now. I can only put the things away first and try again when I have time later. Now I must hurry up and restore the spiritual energy in my body. The plan is about to start. With sufficient spiritual energy, I can deal with the emergency later. Holding a medium-grade spiritual stone in my hand, half an hour later, I finally restored all the spiritual energy. I looked at the sky outside and estimated the time. Zhao Linai will start the action in about an hour. So Lin Changqing needs to prepare in advance. After packing up, he activated the restriction on the door and then left the hotel. After leaving Jianzhou Market, he flew in the direction of the passenger ship landing field. After flying about 10 miles, he saw a forest and felt that this place was quite suitable. First, he released the first and second days of the first month, and let them fly a little higher to avoid being discovered by others. Then he arranged the small 5-element maze array here and adjusted the coverage range of the array to the maximum. The array covered a circle with a diameter of 200 meters, and then all the purple crystal scorpions were released. Some were arranged inside and outside the array. The purple crystal scorpions were mainly distributed in the direction facing the market, and the enemy should come from that direction. After inspecting everything and confirming that there was no problem, Lin Changqing took out his light gauze magic weapon. He found a position with a relatively open view, covered a light gauze magic weapon on his body, and hid there. The next step is to wait patiently. If it is fast, it will take an hour, and if it is slow, it may take 2 or 3 hours for Zhao Linai to come out. The risks and variables in the middle are still quite large, and Zhao Linai has to adapt to the situation. Anyway, as long as the super large piece of raw stone is brought to Lin Changqing, the task will be completed. Soon the sky darkened. Lin Changqing estimated that Zhao Linai should have started now. Now all he had to do was wait patiently and prepare to pick him up. Another hour passed, and it was almost completely dark. Chui and Chuer had to lower their altitude. Fortunately, they finally waited. Chui's warning, Zhao Linai came, but behind him was a group of people driving a flying boat, flying here quickly. Lin Changqing immediately waved his hand, and the thunder horn appeared in his palm, and then began to inject spiritual energy into it. Soon, under the mobilization of Babe, a Jiangjing divine thunder was generated, which was not fired. Then, through the golden runes in the sea of consciousness, Zhao Linai was guided to the place where the magic circle was. Zhao Linai, who was flying rapidly, finally calmed down after receiving Lin Changqing's message. She slightly adjusted her direction and flew towards the location Lin Changqing said. The 4 people behind were still chasing them. Seeing that the target was a fat sheep, they actually wanted to get rid of them by using the woods. They couldn't help laughing. When they flew to the range of the magic circle, Lin Changqing activated the magic circle instantly with a spell. Then, the Zhengjing divine thunder locked and blasted towards the flying boat they were driving. Boom! After a huge thunder, the flying boat fell, and the people on it were thrown away. From being trapped in the magic circle to being hit by the divine thunder, there was only a breath of time difference, and they couldn't react at all. Fortunately, the flying boat was not flying high. Falling from a height of 20 to 30 meters would not kill them immediately, but they were all seriously injured. Moreover, the purple crystal scorpions scattered around did not give them time to react, and immediately pounced on them and gave each of them a shot. After 4 shrill screams, they all lost the ability to resist and fell to the ground twitching violently. This was the result of Lin Changqing's special control. He needed some survivors to prepare for interrogation. He rushed forward, took off all the things on them, and then tied them up tightly. After knocking them all unconscious, he put them into the spirit beast bracelet, and a set of standard movements was completed. He also collected all the spoils, including the crashed flying boat. At this time, Zhao Liyu went around half a circle and returned to the side of the magic circle. Lin Changqing controlled the magic circle and let her in. As soon as she came in, Zhao Liyu said, "Master, I got the things. They are in the storage bag." After that, he handed a storage bag to Lin Changqing. But now is not the time to check. Lin Changqing nodded to her and said, "You did a great job. Give me the other storage bag on you. I'll take you back to the inner space first." Zhao Liyu nodded and handed all her things to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing immediately put her into the spirit beast bracelet. Then Lin Changqing entered the inner space, released Zhao Liyu, and returned all her things to her. Then he handed the 4 captives to Zhao Liyu and Su Miniyang for care, and left the spoils that had just been collected, as well as the storage bag containing the super large raw stone, in the inner space. After giving them a few instructions, he left the inner space. Back in the magic circle, he used his spiritual sense to carefully scan the scene several times, confirming that there were no other things left at the scene, and there were no items that could be tracked, and then he was relieved. With a thought, he summoned all the purple crystal scorpions back, and Chui and Chuer also came back, and then began to recycle the maze array. After completing it, he flew towards the Jianzhou market on his sword. Chapter 192, A Surprise Attack. That's right, Lin Changqing still has to go back to the hotel in the market to rest, and then he will set off for the passenger ship landing field as usual tomorrow. This ambush operation, from the activation of the magic circle to Lin Changqing's departure on the sword, took a very short time, maybe less than 1/3 of a quarter of an hour. The whole battle process can be said to be clean and neat, and it was as fast as thunder. Although the 4 monks on the flying boat realized that they were attacked, they had no time to react to them. They did not form an effective counterattack, and the battle was over. Moreover, most of the time was spent on the aftermath. The actual fighting time was probably about 10 breaths. This should be regarded as a perfect cooperation between Lin Changqing and the purple crystal scorpion. Not long after, they returned to the market smoothly. Lin Changqing secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This way, the matter was temporarily over, and now that the things were successfully in his hands, he was no longer in a hurry. The rest of the things will be dealt with slowly after Lin Changqing boarded the Wanbao Pavilion's passenger ship tomorrow and confirmed that it was safe. It was still early, so he was not in a hurry to go back to the hotel. Suddenly, he had an idea and thought of a wonderful place. Then he slowly walked all the way and came to the same restaurant as last time. It was the same waiter. He should have some impression of Lin Changqing. He took him directly to the place with a screen at the back, which was where Lin Changqing sat last time. This made Lin Changqing very satisfied. He nodded at him and ordered the same dishes as last time, and a bowl of spiritual rice. This restaurant seemed to have a good business. It was so lively every time he came here. There were really many monks who came here to eat. This time, Lin Changqing was not in a hurry. He sat inside and ate slowly, and then pricked up his ears. This time he came here on purpose, mainly because he knew that this place was crowded with people and well informed. As long as he was patient, he would definitely hear some news that interested him. In fact, he mainly wanted to hear if there was any relevant news about the super large rough stone. As expected, Lin Changqing was not disappointed. Soon, he heard a table of guests outside talking about the news about the huge rough stone. "Lao Luo, have you heard? The 5,000 jin treasure of the gambling stone shop was bought by someone this evening. I heard that after that person left, Boss Guo almost laughed to death in the gambling stone shop. He also rewarded the shop assistant with 500 spirit stones. I heard that the news has been spread a long time ago. I don't know how many people are asking about it now. As far as I know, it should be a crazy woman who bought it. 50,000 low-grade spirit stones. Wouldn't it be good to use it to buy foundation building pills? Now she actually bought such a broken stone. I guess she is probably praised to the point of being a mess. It's really a sin. There are even more sinful things. I heard that the 4 tigers of the Yang family followed the crazy woman out of the south gate and have not returned yet. I guess the crazy woman is in danger. The 4 brothers of the Yang family must have succeeded again this time and dare not come back. They ran outside to hide from the limelight. Don't you think this is a sin? What 4 tigers of the Yang family? I think they are more like the 4 dogs of the Yang family and the 4 evils of Jianzhou market. How come no one came forward to clean up all the pests in Jianzhou Fangshi? Old Lin, stop talking. There are too many people here. Be careful that the news gets to the ears of the 4 brothers of the Yang family. They will come to your house every day to block you, and you will be in trouble. He is his sister. These pests are so disgusting. When I succeed in cultivation and build my foundation, I will definitely beat them back to their mother's womb and eliminate the pests for the Fangshi. Come on, the brothers have been able to run rampant in Jianzhou Fangshi for so long. There must be someone protecting them. Otherwise, they would have been killed long ago. How could they wait for you to succeed in cultivation? At this point, no one mentioned the huge rough stone or the 4 brothers of the Yang family. However, at this point, Lin Changqing was already very satisfied and heard the news he wanted to hear. As for the news about the 4 brothers of the Yang family, it was just an extra gain. Knowing that they were not good birds, there was no need to be lenient in dealing with them. Of course, Lin Changqing had no intention of letting them go. For such robbery cultivators, no matter how many he killed, he would not feel that it would hinder his cultivation. Instead, he would do justice for the heaven and accumulate merits. Lin Changqing had already decided that this time he would be a good person to the end and help Jianzhou market clean up these pests. This can be regarded as giving back to Jianzhou market. I believe it will like it. It is to thank it for letting him gain so much. Lin Changqing chewed the meal slowly and ate for almost an hour. After feeling satisfied, he paid the spirit stone and slowly walked back to the hotel. Today is a good day. Not only did he pick up a leek, but he also got the super large rough stone. This should be the biggest material gain of his trip to Jianzhou this time. Sitting in the room, drinking Qingyu tea, with the effect of the spirit tea to refresh the mind, he went through the cleanup operation this evening from beginning to end. After confirming that there was nothing missing, he was completely relieved. Now many people outside know that the person who bought the super large rough stone was a female cultivator and has left Jianzhou market. With a bait released by Lin Changqing, I believe that many interested people will set their sights outside the market, or even further away. And I believe that now, there must be many people who are looking for the whereabouts of the 4 brothers of the Yang family, which is equivalent to the 4 brothers sharing the attention of many interested people. Then it should be safer to set off from the market tomorrow to the passenger ship landing field. After thinking it through, Lin Changqing's mood now is both proud and comfortable, but he was only secretly happy for a while. He started practicing again. He had to set off before Chenxi tomorrow, so Lin Changqing practiced the Thunder Sutra a little earlier tonight. He planned to rest early after completing the practice, and to conserve his energy tomorrow and set off for Qian Mansion. Early the next morning, Lin Changqing got up early and completed the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra. Then he packed up, checked out and got back some of the deposit. Then left the market and flew towards the passenger ship landing field. About a mile away from the market, Chui and Chur were released. Safety is the most important thing now, and this is not the time to be careless. Okay, the journey was relatively smooth. With the early warning provided by Chui, they avoided 2 places with monks along the way. They arrived safely at the passenger ship landing area of Wanbao Pavilion. Although it is not as safe as in the market, no one dares to take action directly in this place. Chui and Chur were recalled to the spirit beast bag, and then they found a place with few people to wait. Now there are quite a few people here, including men, women, young and old. The preliminary estimate is more than 100 people, and more people will come later. However, Lin Changqing has experienced it several times and is considered experienced. He knows what is going on, so he just waits at ease. Sure enough, When the time came, the passenger ship began to greet the guests to board the ship. Lin Changqing had a character certificate in his hand, which was the second batch of people to board the ship. He found his own room smoothly without any trouble. It was still the old rule. Every time I arrived at a place, I would first check if there were any eavesdropping or surveillance arrays. I checked it twice with my spiritual sense and found no problems. Then I set up the small 5-element maze array, and I felt relieved. Just after I finished doing this, I felt the hull sway slightly. Lin Changqing immediately understood that this was the passenger ship officially rising and setting sail. Now I just have to wait for 4 or 5 days to arrive at Qian Mansion. Lin Changqing has already made up his mind not to enter Qian Market this time. The people of the Qi family may still stay in Qian Mansion, so I shouldn't go around under their noses. If something happens again, I will most likely suffer. So I decided to get off the ship and head directly to Fengtai County after arriving at the destination. Chapter 193, Spatial Attribute Speculation. The passenger ship finally officially set sail, which means that the matter of Jiufeng has come to an end for the time being. After thinking for a while, now that the passenger ship has just set sail, the guarding monks on the ship must be patrolling everywhere, so it is not suitable to practice magic or something. Let's continue to study the leak I found yesterday. Taking the stone nest out of the storage bag, in fact, when I found that I could input spiritual energy into it yesterday, Lin Changqing already had some guesses in his mind. Because no matter what it is impossible to contain spiritual energy indefinitely, unless it is a space item. However, what I saw yesterday was just a golden halo, which means that the attribute of this treasure itself is a treasure with gold attribute. Of course, that is not absolute, just like when I saw Lin Changqing, who was still a spirit seed at my grandfather's place. Lin Changqing only saw a colorful halo at that time. I thought it was just a 5 elements attribute, and I didn't expect that Lin Changqing also had a space attribute. There is also the Zuinun heavy water bottle. When I saw it on the street stall, I only saw blue halo, and I didn't expect it to be a space treasure. So Lin Changqing guessed that the aura that might represent the attribute of space is invisible to the naked eye. It is possible that the aura that represents the attribute of space is transparent and colorless. Lin Changqing has decided that he will input spiritual energy into this stone nest when he has time in the future. He believes that one day it will be full, and there should be some changes at that time. Having decided, Lin Changqing brewed a pot of green jade tea, and then drank it while inputting spiritual energy into the stone nest. When the spiritual energy was used up, he meditated to recover, and a morning passed like this. He has input the spiritual energy of his whole body into it 7 or 8 times, but there is still no feedback. Fortunately, Lin Changqing also knows that he can't rush. If it was any other treasure, Lin Changqing would directly crack it with violent means. Just like the Zuinun heavy water bottle at that time, he just picked up the flying sword and chopped it, and as a result, it broke through its camouflage layer in an instant, revealing its true face. But this thing is not good, it is too special. Until now, it is still unknown whether this treasure is this stone nest or these 6 stone eggs. If there are really 6 stone eggs, then if they are broken, they will be gone. So we can't act rashly, we can only take it slowly. And the stone nest has been in the hands of the stall owner for who knows how long, and he hasn't figured out the reason. I guess he completely lost confidence in the end, so he chose to sell it for spiritual stones. But Lin Changqing is different. He has the blessing of the innate merit and knows that this thing is 100% a treasure, and it is definitely not an ordinary treasure. So Lin Changqing has confidence, patience, and believes that one day he will figure out what kind of treasure it is. A morning passed like this, and the passenger ship guards should have finished their inspection, so Lin Changqing decided to go into the inner space to take a look. In fact, I wanted to go in a long time ago, and I have been holding it in since last night. It was just because of the special situation yesterday, and for safety reasons. I held back. Activated the small 5-element maze array arranged in the room, and then entered the inner space. As soon as I came in, Liu Yaoqiang, Lu Xiaoya and their family surrounded me. I was too busy yesterday and didn't have time to interact with them. Today was a good time to make up for it. Every 3 colored deer enjoyed the caressing and fur-smoothing service provided by Lin Changqing, and then they were fed with a soul-nourishing pill. Liu Yaoqiang and Lu Xiaoya, a couple of the 2nd level, were given double the soul-nourishing pill this time. Lu Xiaoling was still in the late 1st level, and I was worried that it couldn't bear it, so I only gave it one, and then let them play by themselves. Su Miniang and Zhao Liaoyu had been waiting for a while. Seeing that Lin Changqing was finally free, the two of them greeted him in unison. "Little maid, meet the master." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "You two don't need to be polite. Zhao Liaoyu did a good job yesterday. You can think about the reward. But I have to make it clear first. You just took the 100 flowers soul intoxicating wine not long ago. The next time you take it, it will be at least a year later. Don't say that you chose the spirit wine and I didn't give it to you." Zhao Liaoyu was a little nervous and said a little embarrassedly, "Master, I brought those 4 tails to you yesterday. Does it count as completing the task?" Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "As long as you bring that super large rough stone to me, you will complete the task. There are some flaws this time, which is also expected. As long as the ending is the same, it will be harmless." After listening to Lin Changqing's explanation, Zhao Liaoyu was relieved and then became happy. She said to Lin Changqing, "Then master, I want to choose to practice here steadily until the foundation building period is perfect." After speaking, she looked at Lin Changqing expectantly. Lin Changqing nodded, "Okay, you can't regret it once you've made your choice. I promise you." Zhao Liaoyu then smiled and quickly thanked him. "Thank you, master. I don't regret it. By the way, tell me about your experience of buying that big rough stone yesterday and what happened in between." Lin Changqing also wanted to know what she experienced yesterday. Zhao Liaoyu nodded, sorted out her thoughts a little, and said, "That day, after I got the entry and exit credentials for the market, I found a hotel near the gambling stone shop to stay. The next morning, I walked around the streets and alleys of the market twice and got familiar with the terrain. Then I went back to the hotel room and waited until almost dusk before going to the gambling stone shop. I stayed there all the time, ostensibly studying the raw stone, but in fact, I wanted to wait until the guests had left before buying the large raw stone. Finally, when they were about to close, I asked the clerk to find the boss and asked to buy the large raw stone. The boss still didn't believe it. I confirmed it again and again and took out the spiritual stone, and he believed that what I said was true and not a joke. Later, because the raw stone was too heavy, it took him 1 or 2/4 of an hour to find someone to lift it up and put it in the storage bag. I guess the news should be leaked at this time, and those shop assistants in the gambling stone shop must have leaked it to the outside. When I took the storage bag and left the gambling stone shop, I found that I had been targeted. I used the terrain in the market to get rid of them. I didn't expect them to run directly to the door of the market and hide not far away to guard. After I left the market for a distance, they chased me from behind. Doing this, I don't want me to return to the market, so I can only run outside. I followed the master's instructions and flew towards the passenger ship landing field until I received the master's instructions to lead them into the formation. The master knew everything that happened later. Lin Changqing listened, thought for a while and said, "You did a good job. You knew to wait until the others left before buying the rough stone. Doing this reduced a lot of trouble. Otherwise, I guess it wasn't just one group of people chasing you yesterday. There might be several groups of people, and the variables would be big at that time. And you are also in danger, but fortunately, the result is not bad now. Next time if you go on a mission again, remember to think more like yesterday, and you did a good job this time." Zhao Liaoyu was very happy to hear Lin Changqing praise her for doing a good job. Of course, the most important thing was to get the affirmation from her master, which made her feel more at ease. At this time, Lin Changqing noticed the envious expression on Su Miniang's face. After thinking about it, he felt that he should comfort her. So he said to her, "In the future, there should be many such tasks. You will have many opportunities to go on missions in the future, so don't worry too much." Su Miniang knew that Lin Changqing said this to comfort her. She was very grateful and nodded in agreement. Chapter 194 Thrilling. After rewarding and comforting his 2 men, Lin Changqing remembered the 4 captives he had brought in yesterday. He quickly asked the 2 men, "Didn't I bring in 4 captives yesterday? Where did you take them?" Zhao Liaoyu said, "Not there, on the other side, master, please follow me." After that, she took Lin Changqing over. It turned out to be on the other side of the yard, which was just blocked from view by the yard. The 4 captives were all hung on the rack. The 4 of them were already injured, and 2 of them looked like they were dying. It seems that although the Zhengjing Divine Thunder yesterday attacked the flying boat, the people on it were obviously also affected because they were too close. Seeing the 4 of them all hung on the rack, Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing. He turned his head and glanced at Zhao Liu, and asked, "Did you hang all these? It looks like you have good skills." Zhao Liu nodded embarrassedly and said, "They were chasing me yesterday. Although I don't know how the master is going to deal with them. But now that they are in my hands, I must not let them get too comfortable. I must deal with them first, even if it's just to collect some interest. Besides, hanging them like this, it's clear at a glance who makes any small moves. This can be regarded as killing two birds with one stone." Lin Changqing laughed when he heard it. It was obvious that Zhao Liu was holding a grudge against them for being chased by them yesterday, and deliberately dealt with them. She dared to say it so righteously and confidently, and Lin Changqing admired her a little. However, it doesn't matter how you treat these robbery cultivators. Anyway, such people won't live long in Lin Changqing's place. Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "Okay. Your explanation is novel. I reluctantly accept it and will treat it as an additional reward for your mission this time." Zhao Liu was very happy to hear this, and her original small worries disappeared. She felt that her master was not only wise and powerful, but also considerate of his subordinates. She decided in her heart that next time there was a mission, she must work hard to complete it better to repay her master. However, Lin Changqing did not have time to care about what Zhao Liu thought. He had to deal with these captives quickly, and then go to see the big raw stone that he had finally obtained. He raised his hand and performed a water ball spell. Under the effect of space, the water ball that was originally as big as a human head turned into a large water ball that required one person to hug, and smashed it on the robbery cultivator closest to him. The huge impact made the robbery cultivator sober up instantly. Seeing Lin Changqing and the other two standing in front of him, he asked, "Who are you? Why are you trying to catch us? Did you make a mistake?" Lin Changqing made him laugh. It was estimated that these people should have discussed a countermeasure. They actually wanted to escape by pretending to be crazy and stupid. It can only be said that they were too naive. "Okay, don't act crazy and stupid in front of me. The four tigers of the Yang family in Jinzhou Fangxi are well known. Anyone who has been in Fangxi for a period of time will know you. Answer a few questions of mine. If you answer incorrectly, you will be punished. You have already tried this punishment yesterday. It is to let my spirit scorpion sting you. I believe you will not want to experience that kind of extreme pain again." After saying that, he deliberately released 24 purple crystal scorpions from the spirit beast bracelet, which surrounded him and waved their claws and teeth. In particular, the tail needle of the purple crystal scorpion looked cold and shining. Seeing this, the cultivator had goosebumps all over his body, and hurriedly said, "Ask whatever you want to ask, I'll tell you everything." Lin Changqing asked expressionlessly, "What's your name? And how did you target her?" "My name is Yang Xianhu. I targeted her because the spy we arranged in the gambling stone shop informed us that someone wanted to buy that big raw stone. It seems that there are many spiritual stones in the storage bag, so we are guarding the door of the gambling stone shop," Yang Xianhu replied. Lin Changqing nodded. This statement was the same as Zhao Liu's guess, so he continued to ask, "What is the name of your spy? What does he look like?" Yang Xianhu answered faster this time. He didn't need to think at all. He said directly, "The man's name is Chen Seveo. He is tall and thin, but his eyes are very flexible. He has a nickname called Four Eyes. This person is easy to identify. He is the tallest one among the shop assistants in the gambling stone shop." Lin Changqing thought for a while and nodded. He seemed to have some impression of this person. But now Lin Changqing has already boarded a passenger ship and left Jinzhou Market, so we can only wait for the next opportunity to deal with him. Lin Changqing continued to ask, "The other three people next to you should be your brothers, right?" Yang Xianhu hesitated for a moment, but still nodded. "That's good, I didn't recognize the wrong person." In fact, Lin Changqing said that he knew them just now, but it was nonsense. Now that it is confirmed that the four of them are brothers, they must be the four tigers of the Yang family. It's even less psychological burden to deal with pests like this. He said to Su Miniang and Zhao Liu, "Help the rest of them wake up, I want to discuss the ransom with them." After hearing what Lin Changqing said, the two women knew that Lin Changqing was going to deal with them, and immediately agreed happily. Then a few big water balls went down, and everyone woke up. The two dying people shivered a few times and became a little energetic. Lin Changqing could not help laughing and said, "You four tigers of the Yang family have been rampant in Jinzhou Market for many years. You must have got a lot of spirit stones, right?" Each of you only needs 20,000 spirit stones to redeem your lives from me. Take them all out and I will let you leave here in one piece. By the way, I have to point out that what is in your storage bags does not count. That is already my trophy, and it all belongs to me." After hearing this, Yang Xian, who opened his eyes wide and could not help yelling, "Brother, the spirit stones and other things are all in the storage bag. We still have some. Aren't you making things difficult for us?" Another brother of Yang Xian who also said, "Brother, my spirit stones are all in the storage bag. I really don't have any more. I have a few mid-grade spirit stones at home, but I don't think you will like them." The other two who were more seriously injured did not speak. They were probably in the same situation as the second one who spoke. Lin Changqing knew this was the case, and continued, "Don't worry. Listen to me. If you don't have spirit stones, you can use other things instead. For example, useful information, high-level exercises, inheritance of the third level or above of the 100 arts of immortal cultivation, or valuable secrets, all are fine. Of course, if there is any adventure, that's fine too. As long as I think it's worth 20,000 spirit stones, I'll let you go." The four Yang brothers looked at each other, and after a while, one of them who hadn't spoken just now said, "I have a secret. The four of us are actually subordinates of Deacon Chen Shianqi of Qingyuan sect. We are responsible for helping him harvest some fat sheep, and then the 6th floor will be handed over to him for the harvest. The rest, the four of us brothers will each take one floor, and he will be responsible for providing us with shelter in the market." Lin Changqing nodded, and he knew that there must be someone behind them, otherwise the 4 key refining cultivators would have been cleaned up long ago. "Okay, that's good. This secret is worth 100 spirit stones. Go on, is there anything else?" The man who spoke opened his eyes wide and shouted, "What? Such an important secret is worth 100 spirit stones?" Lin Changqing nodded seriously and said, "That's right. You see, I'm only at the 6th level of key refining. To be an outer deacon of Qingyuan sect, one must be at least in the foundation establishment stage, right? Do you think I can make it through the foundation establishment stage? I told you it's worth 100 spirit stones to encourage you, so that you don't lose confidence. In fact, in my heart, this secret is not worth a single spirit stone. If you have anything valuable to say, hurry up and tell me, otherwise it will be too late. Don't blame me for not reminding you." This time, the four of them were silent, looking at each other, but no one spoke. Chapter 195 Star Gold. Lin Changqing would not indulge them. He said calmly, "Since none of you 4 brothers are willing to speak, I will choose one of them to demonstrate to you. This time I will choose the one who has not spoken all the time. It's you." Then, with a thought, a purple crystal scorpion pounced over, climbed up the shelf, and gave the man a severe shot at the base of his thigh. Then, a scream that was extremely shrill resounded throughout the inner space. The man was hung on the shelf, and he twisted and turned on the shelf in pain. After a long time, he finally recovered, sweating all over, and gasping for air. Lin Changqing asked him, "Do you have anything valuable to say to me?" The man's voice was hoarse, and he begged, "I really don't have anything. How about I be your little brother? Let me be your slave. I can do anything for you. Please." Lin Changqing shook his head. It seemed that this one was really worthless. With a thought, the purple crystal scorpion stung him again, still in the same position. This time, the screams were even more shrill and sharp. It was estimated that the vocal cords were torn. The man's body twisted desperately, trying to reduce the pain. But soon his body suddenly paused, and then his whole body completely softened and he was motionless. Lin Changqing's heart moved, and he went over to check and found that the man was actually dead, but he was relieved after thinking about it. The man was seriously injured and was dying just now. He was also injected with 2 needles. It was normal that he didn't survive. In addition, although the purple crystal scorpion has just advanced not long ago, it must be more powerful than before. It's a double factor. He said to Zhao Liu, "He's dead. You take him down and throw him into the deep pit to avoid polluting the environment here." Zhao Liu listened to Lin Changqing's instructions, nodded, cut the rope directly with a flying sword, and then lifted the body and threw it into the deep pit. Lin Changqing looked at the remaining 3 brothers. They were all pale now, and one of them was even trembling all over. He continued, "There are 4 brothers in the Yang family, and now there are only 3 brothers in the Yang family. Does anyone want to redeem their lives? If not, you can prepare to go down and find your brothers." As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, The trembling man immediately said, "I have a very important piece of news. I wonder if it is worth 20,000 spirit stones? Redeem my own life." Lin Changqing laughed. "That's right, valuable news should be said earlier. What are you doing keeping it? Are you going to take it into the coffin? Tell me, I'll show you how much spirit stones it is worth." The man had no choice but to continue. "Chen Xiangqi, the deacon of Jianzhou Market, will soon be out of office for 5 years. He has looted at least 100,000 spirit stones in the past few years. And in his storage bag, there is a large piece of 4th level spirit material star gold. This thing has the power of stars and can be used as the main material for star-type magic weapons. I handle this material personally, and the eldest and the third brother didn't know about this. I only found out later that the thing was the precious 4th grade spiritual material star gold. After Chen Xiangqi's term of office expires, he will return to Qingyuan sect to exchange for Zifu Tuangxuan pills. It is very likely that there must be 100,000 spiritual stones in his storage bag. 100,000 spiritual stones plus a precious 4th grade spiritual material should be worth 20,000 spiritual stones, right?" After saying this, he looked at Lin Changqing expectantly. Lin Changqing was speechless. He looked at him expressionlessly and said, "In the end, you just want to lure me to get Chen Xiangqi, the outer sect deacon of Qingyuan sect. He is ready to return to Qingyuan sect to exchange for Zifu Tuangxuan Dan, which proves that he is at least in the late stage of the construction period. How do you think I, a 6th level key refining, can beat him? Are you playing a trick of killing with a borrowed knife? You want him to kill me and then rescue you? It's a pity that I won't fall for your trick. The information you provided is worth 200 spirit stones. Do you have anything else? It's better to say something that I can get. Otherwise, if you keep saying these things, I don't want to care about you." You just saw the end of it. The man's face turned blue with fear and he completely collapsed. He cried and shouted, "I really have nothing left. This is the only valuable information I know." Yang Xianhu and the other two also pleaded at this time, "Brother, we really have nothing left. Why don't you leave us to be your subordinates? We can all swear to the heavenly Dao. We promise to be loyal to you and obey your orders. And after you accept us, we will definitely help you earn more spirit stones, definitely more than 20,000 per person. Please accept us." Lin Changqing nodded. Yang Xianhu was a bit smart and knew to use this to persuade Lin Changqing. If it were someone else, they might be tempted, but unfortunately they met Lin Changqing. The main reason was that the reputation of several of them was too bad, and Lin Changqing didn't have any good feelings towards them. Now that we know that the 3 brothers can't squeeze out any oil and water, let's send them on their way. Otherwise, if they stay in the inner space, they have to send people to prevent it, which is too variable. The 3 brothers of the Yang family saw Lin Changqing nod, thinking that Lin Changqing was going to keep the 3 of them, and they were all ecstatic. Unfortunately, what they waited for was the purple crystal scorpion approaching them. They were immediately terrified and cursed at Lin Changqing. Soon, after a few sharp and shrill screams, the space returned to calm. This time, without Lin Changqing's order, Su Miniang and Zhao Liao had already started to move, took down the bodies of the 3 brothers, and threw them into the deep pit. After dealing with a few annoying robbers and clearing a few poisonous insects for Jianzhou Market, Lin Changqing felt that he had done another meritorious thing. He summoned the 24 purple crystal scorpions back and put them into the spirit beast bracelet. The next step was the most important thing. He returned to the room in the yard and found the storage bag containing the super large raw stone, and then began to sacrifice and refine it. After completing it, his spiritual consciousness couldn't wait to explore it. Seeing the big guy, Lin Changqing was completely relieved. The raw stone was too big. It was easy to release it, but it would be troublesome to put it back, so there was no choice. He could only release it directly and let it fall directly into the deep pit, so that Lin Changqing could digest it. After leaving the yard and coming to the edge of the deep pit, he directly took the raw stone down and waited for a while. Waves of joy came from the bottom of his heart. This time it was particularly intense, and it felt a little different from before. However, Lin Changqing did not care. Changes are good things. If so many earth soul fruits and so many high-grade spirit stones are consumed and there is still no progress, then Lin Changqing will have a headache. It will take some time for Lin Changqing to digest this big guy, and the changes will not show up so quickly. There is no need to wait here, so Lin Changqing returned to the yard and took the storage bags of the 4 brothers of the Yang family. After thinking about it, he decided to exit the space and go outside to count. The main reason is that he has been in for quite a while. If there is no one in the room for a long time, there will definitely be problems sooner or later. So Lin Changqing gave a few instructions to Su Miniang and Zhao Liu, and then exited the inner space. Chapter 196, Unprepared to break through 3 layers. Back outside, in the room of the passenger ship. Looking at the sky, it was almost evening. In the space, several hours passed unknowingly. Looking at the 4 storage bags in his hand, he decided to take a look first to see how much wealth the 4 brothers of the Yang family had accumulated after so many years of dominating the Jianzhou market. Lin Changqing began to sacrifice these storage bags one by one. When they succeeded, he poured the contents of the storage bags into the room. Soon, a large pile of things was piled on the floor. Then he began to sort these things out by category. Without Chen Ziya's help, Lin Changqing was still relatively slow to sort them out by himself. It took more than an hour to sacrifice the storage bags and sort out the things. Now it was dark outside. After a rough calculation, there were about 115,000 low-grade spirit stones and 12 medium-grade spirit stones in the 4 storage bags. With this amount of spirit stones, it felt average, and it didn't seem to be as rich as imagined. The harvest of magic tools was not bad. No medium or low-grade magic tools were found. There were 16 high-grade magic tools, half of which were for attack and half for defense. They were very generous in this regard. A set of extreme magic tools, which looked like magic tools for trapping people, were 5 rings. Lin Changqing was not good at using this kind of strange magic tool and did not like it very much. Besides, there was a purple crystal scorpion, so it was not easy to catch people. In addition, a first-class high-grade flying boat was found. They had already blown up a flying boat by Lin Changqing. Unexpectedly, they could find another one. It was really lucky. Lin Changqing decided to keep this flying boat as a backup. And this time there was an unexpected harvest. 8 yin thunder beads were found. Few casual cultivators would be willing to spend 500 spirit stones to buy such a disposable high-powered magic tool. They would rather use spirit stones to buy elixirs or magic tools. In short, every spirit stone should be used to the best effect. The 8 yin thunder beads harvested this time were worth 4,000 low-grade spirit stones. There were quite a few pills, about 30 or 40 bottles, and 20 of them were of the highest quality. This came at the right time. There were 2 subordinates in the inner space who needed to be raised. With these, they could last longer. There were quite a few common pills, such as the rejuvenation pill and the rejuvenation pill, with a total of more than 10 bottles. There were quite a few talismans this time, with a total of almost 200, mostly defensive talismans, such as the Golden Light Talisman, the Thick Earth Talisman, and the Water Spirit Cover. There were very few attacking talismans, with a total of less than 20, but 20 each of the Earth Escape Talisman and the Wood Escape Talisman. There were quite a lot of books, with a total of 12, of which 7 were about cultivation techniques. Lin Changqing roughly flipped through them and found that they were all very common and widely circulated. Many casual cultivators practice this kind of popular cultivation techniques. There were also 4 cultivation notes and the like, which were all worthless things. When the time comes, collect them together and give them all to the family. The last one was a little special. Lin Changqing couldn't understand it. There were some symbols with unknown meanings on it, followed by numbers. He guessed that it might be their account book or something like that. Now that the 4 brothers of the Yang family are dead, no one knows the meaning of these symbols, so this thing is naturally useless. The next thing is more than 20 jade boxes. After Lin Changqing opened them all, he harvested 15 spiritual medicines, of which only 5 could be planted again, and the others could only be used to make pills. The last thing was some clothes, sundries, daily necessities and other things, which were all collected in a storage bag and destroyed when it was convenient. In general, the 4 brothers of the Yang family were not as rich as Lin Changqing imagined, and the news they said was all pointing to Chen Xiangqi, the external deacon of Qingyuan sect. Unfortunately, from the information they provided, it was about 100,000 spiritual stones and a piece of 4th-level spiritual material star gold, which was still not worth Lin Changqing's risk. Because there were too many problems involved, let's not talk about whether we can get him, just confirming his whereabouts is already very troublesome. We also need to choose a suitable place to start, deal with the aftermath, face the investigation of Qingyuan sect, and a series of other problems, so it is really not worth it to start for this little thing. However, this outer sect deacon named Chen Shianqi has a piece of star gold in his hand. Lin Changqing wrote it down, maybe it will be useful in the future. Put all the things on the ground into the corresponding storage bag. Then he cleaned up and started to brew green jade tea. Slowly tasting the spiritual tea, now is Lin Changqing's rest time. After drinking this pot of spiritual tea, he will start to practice the Thunder Sutra again. Soon, Lin Changqing sat cross-legged, got into position, and began to practice the exercises. Acid, numbness, swelling, pain, and all kinds of familiar feelings came to him again. Because he had successfully opened up 7 thunder acupoints, he practiced the 8th acupoint today, so he was a little greedy and practiced for a quarter of an hour longer than usual. After more than 2 hours, Lin Changqing's energy was completely exhausted, sweating profusely, and he was still lying on the ground, too tired to move. Fortunately, after lying on the ground for a while, he recovered some energy. He struggled to get up, washed himself, and then lay down on the bed to rest. 3 days passed like this. Lin Changqing's practice time and daily routine were all quite regular. Today is the 4th day on board. In the morning, Lin Changqing practiced a 5 elements chaos sutra as usual. He had just run the technique for 1 cycle. Suddenly, a large amount of spiritual energy surged into his body, which caught Lin Changqing off guard. He almost got a stitch in the side. Fortunately, the 5 elements chaos sutra was worthy of being a heavenly level technique, and it was not so easy to go astray. Lin Changqing actually had some guesses in his mind, but now was not the time to verify them. He restrained other unnecessary emotions, concentrated all his energy, guided the spiritual energy that surged, and impacted the acupuncture points on the meridians. There was too much spiritual energy in his body, and Lin Changqing hummed while guiding it. Because the acupuncture points were forcibly opened, Lin Changqing could not help but hum every time one was opened. 1 meridian, 2 meridians, 3 meridians. His cultivation was also rising rapidly. He was at the 7th level of key refining, and soon broke through the 8th level. Not long after, he broke through the 9th level, and was still rushing forward like a broken bamboo. Lin Changqing was scared to death, and tried hard to guide these spiritual energies to consolidate his current realm, but this only delayed for a while, and soon his realm was consolidated. The spiritual energy in his body was still pouring out, and Lin Changqing's scalp was numb. His current cultivation was already perfect in key refining. If he rushed again, he would have to start building the foundation. Even if Lin Changqing had 100 guts, he would not dare to do this, because the passenger ship would arrive at the landing field of Kitayan Mansion around noon tomorrow. A little more than a day was enough time to build the foundation, and it was enough to adjust the body and mind. So he had no choice but to take out the stone nest from the storage bag and began to guide these spiritual energies to pour into it. This pouring lasted from morning till evening before it finally stopped. Lin Changqing finally put down his worries, because the spiritual energy passed through the meridians continuously, and his meridians were a little painful when he rested. So he had decided to stop practicing for the next 2 days and let the meridians rest and recover for 2 days. Lying in the middle of the small 5-element maze array and the spirit gathering array, he really didn't want to move. The main reason was that he was too tired, both physically and mentally. However, fortunately, although it looked dangerous this time, everything was still under control. This was certainly not controlled by Lin Changqing. Today, everything was controlled by Lin Changqiu. It should have taken 3 days to digest and absorb the super large raw stone. Although I couldn't believe it, it was the fact that Lin Changqiu had advanced again and should be at the 3rd level now. This time, the spiritual energy in his body continued to surge, and it was also the feedback of part of the spiritual energy to Lin Changqing after it advanced. I didn't expect that it would swell him to death. And this time it learned to be smart. Last time it took root and sprouted, because its status was too high, it was directly at the 2nd level, so it directly fed back its mana to Lin Changqing, but he couldn't use it. In the end, it was excreted from the body and was completely wasted. This time, Lin Changqiu directly converted the mana into spiritual energy and kept controlling the amount to give Lin Changqing time to refine and use it, otherwise Lin Changqing would have exploded long ago. It is estimated that Lin Changqiu did not stop the spiritual energy supply because he saw Lin Changqing had been directing the spiritual energy into the stone nest, otherwise it should have stopped long ago. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, It means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 Pressure Mountain Space Mark. There was no need to check the body again, as all the 12 meridians in the body had been opened. By the way, he also used that energy to consolidate his current cultivation and realm. Now his cultivation has reached the great perfection of key refining. As long as he polishes the spiritual energy for a period of time, he can prepare to impact the foundation building period. All this seemed like a dream. Just this time today, it saved Lin Changqing at least 20 years of effort. If he suddenly appeared in front of his friends now, it is guaranteed that they would be shocked. He was definitely the last to come and surpassed. Originally, he expected that he would be able to impact the foundation building period when he was about 35 years old, but he didn't expect Lin Changqing to do it for him in one day. This saved him a lot of time, allowing him to spend more time and energy on practicing magic. It can only be said that the Void Tongshan Willow is worthy of being a spiritual root of heaven and earth. It is so powerful, although it also consumes a lot of resources. From the first piece of high-grade spirit stone Yuan invested to the supergiant original stone invested 3 days ago, the most conservative calculation in the middle is 5,000 high-grade spirit stones, which is equivalent to 50 million low-grade spirit stones. If this amount of spirit stones is placed in the Lin family, it can cultivate 100 purple mansion cultivators, and if it is placed in the Qingyuan sect, it can cultivate 200 purple mansion true cultivators or 20 giant in real people. This comparison shows how terrifying Lin Changqing is. He is simply piled up with resources. In this world, perhaps only Lin Changqing can afford to raise him and is willing to raise him. But then, Lin Changqing brought him a huge bolt from the blue, because he advanced to the 3rd level. Lin Changqing's spirituality has also been improved and restored, and he can convey some more accurate meanings. What it conveyed to Lin Changqing this time is that the inner space has exceeded 5,000 acres, reaching about 5,800 acres. If it wants to advance to the 4th level, the inner space must reach at least 250,000 acres. This news was too unfriendly to Lin Changqing. What was the concept of 250,000 mu? If it was converted into the required spiritual stones, it would take a long time to count the zeros behind it. This was simply a sinkhole. Lin Changqing's beautiful mood when he just advanced to the great perfection of key refining was not beautiful in an instant. It felt like there were 25 mountains pressing on him, and he vividly experienced what it meant to be under great pressure. It was not easy to suppress his messy thoughts and stabilize his emotions. He carefully recalled the meaning conveyed by Lin Changqing and captured 2 key information. One was more than 5,000 mu, and the other was that it reached at least 250,000 mu. After a mental calculation, it happened that the difference between the two was 50 times. In an instant, he felt that the world was dark and the future was bleak. It takes 250,000 mu to advance to the 4th level, so does it take 12,500,000 mu to advance to the 5th level? Does it take 62,500,000 mu to advance to the 6th level? Lin Changqing didn't want to calculate the rest, let alone convert it into spiritual stones. I was so depressed that I couldn't express it in words. With this astronomical figure on him, Lin Changqing felt that his shoulders were too small and he couldn't bear it. Fortunately, at this time, Lin Changqing gave him another comfort, and Lin Changqing's mood was slightly better, and he temporarily put the big trouble aside. Finally, I felt that my efforts had paid off a little, and I began to carefully understand and experience the meaning conveyed by Lin Changqing. Because Lin Changqing was promoted, he naturally awakened a talent skill, that is, space marking. The function is to leave a space mark in any place, and you can quickly get there through Lin Changqing's space shuttle ability. This space shuttle ability is Lin Changqing's own ability. If Lin Changqing summons Lin Changqing to the real world, then Lin Changqing will use this space shuttle ability to shuttle from the void to Lin Changqing. Of course, because of the relationship of life and death, Lin Changqing is naturally a space mark for Lin Changqing, and it can appear in front of Lin Changqing at any time. With Lin Changqing's current strength, he can leave 9 marks on the same plane at the same time. If it is a cross plane, he does not have the ability to mark it now, so even if he marks it, he cannot reach it. However, if it is a secret realm formed by cutting out from the main space, Lin Changqing can also reach it through space marking, just like the Jiang secret realm that Lin Changqing had just visited. For example, Lin Changqing asked Lin Changqing to leave a space mark in his room in Jiufeng Mountain. He also left a space mark in Chen Ziya's room in Chengshi Peak of Qingyuan sect, so he could quickly appear in two places through Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing now has a preliminary understanding of the application of this skill, and he already has a few vague ideas in his mind. Of course, it is not convenient on the passenger ship now, and these ideas will be slowly verified later when he has time. He lay on the ground for a while, and when he was almost done resting, he got up and cleaned up his body. Lin Changqing was already a little impatient, and he wanted to enter that space to see what was going on inside. He activated the small 5-element maze array and then entered the inner space. As soon as I entered the inner space, the changes were too great. It was very empty at first glance, and it felt like a huge change. The area of the inner space is now 5 or 6 times that of the past. There are only 2 words to describe it: empty. The height has also increased 5 or 6 times. Now the inner space has begun to take shape, 5,800 acres, with a diameter of about 750 feet. Lin Changqing still feels very accomplished standing in the center of the space. But now many places in the inner space are wastelands, and it looks like there is nothing, as if it is a bit desolate. Soon, Liu Yaoqiang's family came over and surrounded Lin Changqing, calling Yo-Yo. They were still so enthusiastic after not seeing them for a few days. I started to stroke their fur, and then fed each of them a Yulang pill, and let them play by themselves. The inner space has become larger, and the happiest ones should be their family. After all, the range of activities has become larger. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind, and he thought of Chui and the others. He decided to release Chui and Chur as well. They had been stuck in the spirit beast bracelet for several days. It was a good opportunity to let them out for some fresh air and fly freely in the space. At this time, Su Miniang and Zhao Liao also came over. When they saw Lin Changqing, they immediately greeted him in unison. "Little maid, meet the master." Lin Changqing nodded, and with a thought in his mind, he asked, "The space has expanded a lot. Have you noticed it?" "Have you seen how the space has expanded?" Su Miniang said, "Master, we didn't notice it at first, but it became obvious later. I also went to the edge of the space and observed it for a while. I found that some soil began to appear at the edge, and then gradually became more and thicker. After reaching a certain level, the light shield covering the entire space will move outward and incorporate the land into the space, so that the space will become larger." Zhao Liao also said, "Yes, Master, it's amazing. We observed it for a long time." "A few hours ago, the space stopped growing." Lin Changqing nodded. After listening to the descriptions of the two people, Lin Changqing had a rough idea in his mind. It seemed that it had been so long. It seemed that he had not seen how the space had grown with his own eyes. Next time he had a chance, he must come and see it with his own eyes. Chapter 198 Miracle of Life. Lin Changqing glanced at the two of them and asked, "Now the inner space has increased by thousands of acres of land. It's not a solution to keep wasting it like this. Do you two have any suggestions?" Su Miniang thought for a moment and said, "Master, we can plant more green jade spirit tea. Even if the 3-colored deer can't take care of it, it's better to let the spirit tea grow naturally than to leave the land empty." Zhao Liao also said, "Master, I also think that we should plant more 100-year-old red fruits, foundation-building fruit trees, or earth soul fruit trees. This is the best choice." Lin Changqing also felt that what the two said made sense, so he said, "This space has increased so much land area all of a sudden. You are often in the inner space, so you can think of ways to make the best use of the land. In short, find something to do when you are free. If you do a good job, I will consider the actual situation and give you some rewards appropriately." Su Miniang and Zhao Liao were overjoyed when they heard this. Although they didn't know what the reward would be, they believed that the master would not be stingy. Then Lin Changqing thought that he still had some 100-year-old zoo fruit cores, so he went back to the yard to find them and gave them to Zhao Liao. He instructed, "This is the core of the 100-year-old zoo fruit, which can be used as a spiritual seed. You can refer to the spacing of the existing zoo fruit trees and arrange the planting. There are more than 200 in total, which should be too many. Liu Yaoqiang and his family may not be able to take care of them. You can help take care of them when the time comes. If it doesn't work, just let them grow naturally." Zhao Liao nodded and said, "Yes, I will try my best to take care of these spiritual plants, Master. Please rest assured, After a little consideration, Lin Changqing said, "Take advantage of your spare time to take care of them. Don't fall behind in cultivation. There will be other things for you to do in the future, and it won't work if your cultivation is too low." Su Miniang and Zhao Liyu quickly agreed. Then Lin Changqing asked the two to go first, and he began to patrol the space. After all, the land area increased by almost 5 times, so he still had to come and check around. After checking the newly added land in the space, Lin Changqing found nothing different from before, so he exited the inner space. Sitting in the room, drinking the freshly brewed JT, Lin Changqing felt as if he had forgotten something. Suddenly, he remembered that the thing he had forgotten was the stone nest. He quickly took the stone nest that he had just thrown aside to check. He was upset by the news that Lin Changqing had conveyed today. It was obvious that the stone nest had finally given some feedback, but he had forgotten it. He had madly poured so much spiritual energy into it, and this stone nest finally gave Lin Changqing some feedback today. There were 6 young and weak consciousnesses in it, which should have been awakened or activated by the spiritual energy poured in by Lin Changqing, and they were eagerly absorbing the spiritual energy poured in by Lin Changqing. And they were like 6 small bottomless pits. No matter how much spiritual energy was poured in, it was quickly absorbed. To be honest, when they were first discovered, Lin Changqing was really shocked. It was simply unbelievable. He had always thought it was some kind of treasure, but he didn't expect it to turn into 6 little lives. Because of the long time, the entire eggshell has been completely petrified and merged with a stone nest. Unexpectedly, the 6 little lives inside are still so tenaciously alive. It is really incredible. It is simply a miracle of life. Of course, the racial talents of the 6 little guys inside must be very strong, otherwise they would not be able to persist for so long. It's just that we don't know what is inside yet. We can only know when they are born. But the problem now is that their eggshells have been completely petrified and merged with a stone nest. I don't know how many times stronger the eggshells are than normal. It is still unknown whether the 6 little guys inside can break out of the shell normally. What we can do now is to inject more spiritual energy into them to help them become as strong as possible. As for breaking out of the shell and being born, we will see this situation when the time comes. But it's definitely not possible in the next 2 days. Lin Changqing needs to let his meridians rest and recover. After the meridians return to normal, he will infuse them with spiritual energy. He put the stone nest back into the storage bag. Now because of the meridians, he can't practice. It just so happens that I haven't chatted with Babe for a long time. Now is just the right time. He flipped his hand and summoned the thunder horn. His spiritual consciousness probed into the horn. Babe immediately felt Lin Changqing's arrival and was very happy. His spiritual consciousness entangled with Lin Changqing's spiritual consciousness, and sent waves of attachment to him. Lin Changqing felt a little ashamed. He really hadn't chatted with Babe for a long time. Maybe he would only think of him when he needed him. But Babe could only contact himself. He was usually bored and sometimes even fell asleep because he was too bored. After all, it was also a life that he nurtured. In the future, he still had to chat with it more. After making a decision, the father and son began to communicate. It was mainly Lin Changqing who taught Babe some knowledge. Fortunately, 800 learns and absorbs very quickly, which is what Lin Changqing likes most. This exchange lasted for 2 hours. Seeing that the time was almost up, Lin Changqing put the thunder horn back into the acupoint. The passenger ship will arrive at Kitayan Mansion at noon tomorrow. Rest early tonight and start the journey tomorrow. The next day, Lin Changqing did not get up too early. It was rare that he did not have to practice today. When he woke up in the morning, Lin Changqing did not get up immediately, but stayed in bed for a while. But he did not stay in bed for too long, and got up soon, because the passenger ship would arrive at the landing field of Kitayan Mansion at about noon. Thinking that Chui and his wife were still in the inner space, he entered the inner space and dealt with Liu Yaoqiang's family who came over. He summoned Chui and Chuer back, fed them some monster meat and a soul-raising pill, and then sent them back to the Soul Beast bracelet. When we get off the passenger ship and start the journey, we will need them. After a quick scan with his spiritual sense, he saw Su Miniang and Zhao Liyu were both there. They were busy planting the red fruit cores that Lin Changqing had given them yesterday. Lin Changqing nodded and did not disturb them. Besides, he had already done what he needed to do, so he left the inner space. After returning to the room, he thought about it for a while, and then he took back the small 5-element maze array and the spirit gathering array in the room. After finishing all these, He fed the purple crystal scorpion group and the hairball again. There was basically nothing to do, and now he was waiting to get off the boat. Lin Changqing was in the room, brewing a pot of green jade tea, and while drinking it, he read a travel journal of Jinden's Henrun. This book was bought by Lin Changqing at the street stall square at that time. At that time, he bought dozens of books in total. Today, it was rare that he did not have to practice, so he took it out to read and kill time. After thinking about it, he summoned Babe again. After a conversation, Lin Changqing slightly changed the content of the book he read and told Babe a story. This made it so excited, as it had never heard a story before. The story lasted for 2 hours. When the passenger ship landed smoothly at the landing field, Lin Changqing finished his storytelling work. Originally, Lin Changqing just had an idea and told the travel notes of the Jinden monk as a story. Unexpectedly, Babe was fascinated as soon as he heard it, and pestered Lin Changqing desperately, asking him to tell more. Seeing that Babe liked it so much, Lin Changqing couldn't bear to refuse, so he kept telling until the passenger ship landed. It was only after he promised it that he would continue to tell its stories when he had time in the future that Babe stopped pestering Lin Changqing. Chapter 199 successfully obtained. At this time, the loudspeaker array on the passenger ship sounded, notifying the guests of the arrival and the length of time the passenger ship would stay. Lin Changqing used his spiritual sense to scan the room. After confirming that nothing was missing, he got off the ship and handed in his boarding pass at the side of the ship. Then he identified the direction and controlled the flying boat to Fengtai County. After flying 2 miles, he released Shui and Chur from the spirit beast bracelet. After communicating with them about the direction of the destination, they began to cruise over Lin Changqing's head. With them, traveling would be much safer. The possibility of being attacked was greatly reduced. After flying for about 2 hours, Lin Changqing found a secluded place to land. The meridians have not yet recovered. Today, they only traveled for 2 hours. I dare not use them excessively for fear of affecting the recovery of the meridians. The original 2-day trip is estimated to take more than 3 days. Fortunately, there is no rush, so I can take my time. After setting up the small 5-element maze formation and activating the formation, he also released 100 amethyst scorpions, set up 3 layers of defense and early warning, and then Lin Changqing went into rest. Fortunately, the next morning, after Lin Changqing tried to practice, he found that his meridians had basically recovered. He was overjoyed, recovered the formation, recalled the amethyst scorpions, and set off after confirming that nothing was missed. Finally, after getting off the passenger ship, on the evening of the 3rd day, he rushed to Zhaojia village in Fengtai County, but did not enter the village immediately, nor did he release Zhao Liu immediately. Instead, he found a suitable place outside the village to set up the formation, released the amethyst scorpions, and waited until late at night. Lin Changqing covered the gauze magic weapon. After 2 circles in Zhaojia village, his spiritual sense swept through every household, and did not find any cultivators in the village, nor did he find anything that could threaten him, so Lin Changqing was basically relieved. He also found their family ancestral hall specifically. This kind of mundane building has basically no defense capabilities for cultivators. Lin Changqing slipped in very easily. His spiritual sense searched carefully inch by inch, and soon he found the entrance to the secret room in an inconspicuous place. Lin Changqing's current cultivation level of key refining great perfection, his spiritual sense has also increased by 10 feet. Now under the limit state, his spiritual sense can extend 100 feet away. In addition, when the Zhao family built this secret room, for some unknown reason, they did not add any spirit isolating materials. Therefore, Lin Changqing's spiritual sense can easily explore the entire situation of the secret room built 20 feet underground, including the mechanisms, secret compartments, and of course the things inside. Basically everything is clear. The things in the secret room are similar to what Zhao Liu said. In fact, these are secondary. His main goal this time is the 2 high-level exercises that are said to be able to directly point to the Great Dao. This 3rd-level spiritual plant master inheritance is relatively inferior, so Lin Changqing did not go in to get the inheritance, but returned to the woods outside the village, and went into the maze array he had set up. After checking the surrounding environment and finding no problems, he activated the array and entered the inner space. Because there was something important to do, he just dealt with Liu Yaoqiang and the others hastily, and told them through the contract that he would play with them next time. Zhao Liao was summoned through the golden rune. Soon she came to Lin Changqing and greeted him. "Little maid, meet the master." Lin Changqing nodded and said directly, "We are now in Taoji village, Fengtai County, in the woods outside the village. Wait a minute, I will take you out of the inner space. We will get the 2 exercises first, and then come back to the village ancestral hall to get the inheritance of the 3rd level spiritual plant master. Is that okay?" After saying that, Lin Changqing stared at Zhao Liao's expression. Fortunately, she listened to Lin Changqing's words. Zhao Liao nodded without hesitation and said, "Master, no problem. I will take you to find my grandfather's grave after we leave the space." After hesitating for a moment, he continued, "Master, can you try not to let the villagers know that we are back? Lest the ordinary people in Taoji village think that I have given up on them by bringing people to get the skills. I must leave them with some thoughts." After hearing Zhao Liao's request, Lin Changqing nodded in agreement without hesitation. He said, "It is late at night outside now, and everyone in the village is resting. We should be careful and will never be discovered. After getting the skills and the inheritance of the spirit plant master, you can also make a copy for yourself and put it back in place at that time. It will be unnoticed by anyone, and ordinary people will not be able to find it." After hearing this, Zhao Liao was completely relieved and thanked Lin Changqing very sincerely. Lin Changqing waved his hand, put Zhao Liao into the spirit beast bracelet, and then exited the inner space. He returned to the maze array and raised his hand to release Zhao Liao. After she got used to it, she opened the magic circle. The 2 took advantage of the night, led by Zhao Liao, and began to move towards the Zhao family cemetery. In fact, it was not far at all, just over a mountain. With Zhao Liao leading the way, they found her grandfather's tomb very smoothly. Fortunately, Zhao Liao led the way. If Lin Changqing had to find it by himself, I don't know when he would find it. Because his grandfather's tomb was very ordinary, and it was built exactly the same as the tombs of ordinary mortals around. It was impossible to tell that this was a monk's tomb. Lin Changqing did not do it himself, but said to Zhao Liao, "After all, it is your grandfather's tomb. It is not good for an outsider like me to do it. You should do it yourself." Zhao Liao sighed helplessly and nodded to Lin Changqing. Then she walked to her grandfather's tomb, knelt down, kowtowed 3 times respectfully, and began to pray. Lin Changqing watched quietly on the side, and did not urge her. After all, he still had this cultivation and patience. After a while, Zhao Liao finished praying, wiped the tears from her face, and started to work in a corner. The monks were very fast. After a while, Zhao Liao came over with a stone as big as a human head. She solemnly handed the stone to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing took it and saw it. He understood it instantly. He couldn't help but admire the wisdom of their ancestors. "This is simply a rough stone." Yes, it is the kind of rough stone that Lin Changqing often buys. This kind of rough stone is scanned by the divine consciousness. Nothing can be found at all. It looks like an ordinary stone, so there is a saying that it is difficult for gods to judge the quality of jade. Use this kind of rough stone, hollow out the middle, use it as a box, and then bury it in the soil. If no one tells you where it is, it will definitely not be found. It is really a wonderful idea. You can't underestimate anyone. Small people also have their own way of survival, and small people also have great wisdom. Lin Changqing's spiritual sense searched and explored the stone bit by bit, and finally he found a clue. He used the golden light needle to slowly pierce along that place, not daring to be too rough, for fear of damaging the things inside. Soon, something like a lid was pried off, and the spiritual sense probed in to check. Only then did he find that although the whole original piece was as big as a head, there was not much space dug inside. There was only a small space inside, where 3 jade slips were placed. Lin Changqing thought about it and did not check it immediately. Instead, he said to Zhao Liao, "You restore your grandfather's tomb to its original state first, and we will return to the magic circle and send it back after you finish copying." Zhao Liao also knew that what Lin Changqing said made sense. After all, if the contents of the jade slips were too much and could not be copied in a short time, then leaving them here would be at risk of being discovered. So she nodded and began to restore them to their original state, and then kowtowed a few times in front of the tomb. After finishing, the 2 returned the same way and successfully returned to the maze array. Chapter 200, Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra. Lin Changqing and his companion returned to the magic circle, and only then did they have time to study it carefully. The 3 jade slips were placed in that small space, and they fit perfectly. It seemed that the space was dug according to the size of the 3 jade slips. Obviously, the person who hid the jade slips had spent a lot of time on it. He gently picked them out with a light-escaping needle. As soon as he got the things, he could see that the 3 jade slips were different. The materials of 2 of the jade slips were the same as the jade slip that Lin Changqing got in the secret realm, which recorded the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra. This made him look forward to it involuntarily. However, Lin Changqing did not look at the 2 jade slips made of special materials first, but directly put the ordinary jade slip on his forehead. The one that could be placed together with the 2 jade slips of the exercises must have recorded very important information. Lin Changqing read it carefully. There was not much content in it. It mainly told the detailed origin of the Zhao family and some major family events, followed by a family tree. At the end was the introduction of the 2 exercises. Lin Changqing felt that this was the most important and interesting part, so he couldn't help but read it more carefully. First of all, there is an introduction to the Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra. The general content can be summarized as follows. The Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra is the core practice of the Phoenix Nirvana sect in the upper realm. It belongs to the upper grade fire type heavenly level practice, and can be practiced to the highest level of the great perfection of the transformation of the spirit. As for the subsequent practice, you must join the Phoenix Nirvana sect and become an inner disciple or a core disciple to obtain it. Although the Phoenix Nirvana sect is not a Holy Land level force in the upper realm, it is also a dominant existence, and its status is very transcendent and special. The various holy places dare not provoke them casually. It is mainly because of the special nature of their practice. Not only are the various fire-type magical powers powerful, but there are endless tricks. The most important thing is that as long as the cultivators who have practiced a Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra reach the realm of the Purple Mansion period, it is difficult to kill them all at once. They are quite difficult to provoke. They are an existence that cannot be killed, but will be provoked. After the cultivators who practice this technique reach the Purple Mansion stage, they could use the Nirvana Holy Fire that came with the technique to sacrifice a piece of at least the 3rd order fire-type spiritual material, and refine this piece of fire-type spiritual material into a special container. Then, a drop of special blood essence that was refined through the Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra containing the cultivator's essence, energy, spirit, and 3 treasures was sealed in this special container and placed in a safe and secure place. If a cultivator who practiced a Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra died outside, he would soon be reborn through the reserved special container. This is a bit like rebirth by dripping blood, but how much cultivation is after rebirth? It depends on how much cultivation is carried by the drop of special blood essence containing the 3 treasures of essence, energy, and spirit that was reserved in the container. Generally, it carries about 10% of the cultivation, so basically, rebirth will drop a large level, such as the cultivation level from the Purple Mansion stage to the Foundation Establishment stage. But the good thing is that you can save your life and have a chance to start over. And because you have the experience of practicing to the Purple Mansion stage before, it will be easier to practice back. Not only that, when you advance to the Golden Core stage, you can sacrifice and refine another such container and seal another drop of special blood essence containing the 3 treasures of essence, energy and spirit into it. In the future, you can repeat this process every time you advance to a higher level, as long as you are willing to spend time and energy to refine the drop of special blood essence, and the grade of the material used to make the container can keep up. The Purple Mansion stage uses spiritual materials of the 3rd level or above, the Golden Core stage uses spiritual materials of the 4th level or above, and so on. Therefore, the higher the level of cultivation of the person who practices this Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra, the harder it is to kill him completely. However, there are also threshold restrictions for practicing this technique. The minimum requirement is that the fire element spiritual root must be more than 40 points. Of course, the better the fire element spiritual root qualification, the more significant the effect of practice. Another point is that people who practice this technique cannot sacrifice their life magic weapon, because their life magic weapon is a special container that is sacrificed by the Nirvana Holy Fire. This container has a very close relationship with them and is also the key to their rebirth. Seeing this, Lin Changqing was already super excited. He didn't expect this technique to be so powerful. It was simply too suitable for Lin Changqing. Her fire spirit root aptitude was very good, with a full 82 points. It is very suitable for practicing this technique, and she will definitely make rapid progress. Maybe, in the family, She may be the first to form a pill, or even the first to break the pill and become an infant. And after practicing this technique, it is not so easy to be killed by others, so Lin Changqing is more relieved. He himself is also very envious of this technique, but unfortunately his fire spirit root is only 20 points, which does not even meet the minimum practice requirements. Besides, he has found the most suitable technique for himself, and he can also practice to the great perfection of the transformation of the spirit. It's just that I can't help but envy others who can be reborn by practicing this technique. Continue reading. The next is the introduction of Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra. Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra is one of the core exercises of the Xianshu Holy Land in the Upper Realm, and is also part of Wanshu Control Wave Sutra. Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra is a water-attributed heavenly grade middle grade exercise, and the highest can also be cultivated to the great perfection of transformation. Subsequent exercises must be obtained by joining the Xianshu Holy Land. The most important thing for practicing this exercise is heavy water, and heavy water of all levels is required, which is opposite to Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra. Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra attaches great importance to the natal magic weapon, because the heavy water used for cultivation and fighting is all in this natal magic weapon. Therefore, in Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra, there are 81 natal magic weapons alone, all in various styles. Because of the characteristics of the exercise, the cultivators who practice this exercise should refine their natal magic weapons as early as possible, which is beneficial to both cultivation and fighting. The Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra does not require high qualifications for cultivation. Anyone with water spiritual roots can practice it. The most important thing for practicing this technique is heavy water of various levels. If the heavy water resources are abundant, the progress of practicing this technique is also very fast. This is very similar to what Lin Changqing guessed at the beginning. Generally speaking, this technique is definitely a perfect match with a Zuinun heavy water bottle. In fact, Lin Changqing was guessing from the beginning whether the Zuinun heavy water bottle was the life magic weapon of a certain cultivator who practiced a Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra. So just now, I specially looked in the jade slip of the technique, the part that records the life magic weapon, and carefully compared and searched, but there was no Zuinun heavy water bottle at all. There are two similar ones, one is called the 4 Seas Soul bottle, and the other is called the 7 Seas Swallowing Heaven bottle. After comparing, they are not what Lin Changqing is looking for. But think about it, the Zuinun heavy water bottle can produce the 9th level heavy water. How could it be that simple? You know, Lin Changqing is still unclear about what realm he will be after the transformation of the spirit, equivalent to the 6th level. Not to mention the 9th level. Forget it, magic weapons and the like are still too far away from Lin Changqing, so let's deal with the things in front of us first. Lin Changqing thought about it and handed all 3 jade slips to Zhao Liu, asking her to take a look at them first. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.